Hello, Jerry.
Hello, can you hear me?
Jerry, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. Welcome to today's section. So I'm going to turn off your video for a while. When it's your time, I'll bring you back on, but you just hang in there for me. Is that okay?
All right, sure, that's fine.
Okay, cool. All right. Is it getting the audio?
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Please, if you're already there and you're in the comment section and you can hear me, I'll need you to quickly um, drop comments to ensure that you can hear me. To let me know you can hear me, go to the comment section, start dropping your comments to let us know that you're with us and that I am audible. Please, I need you to drop comments so we can confirm that we are live properly, and so we can quickly begin today's section. I want to welcome you to Techvival Africa conference, day 2, right? Yesterday we had a couple of hitches and it wasn't really all of the amazing things we planned down for you, but it's amazing that we are back here today and we're even here to make it even better. So if you can hear me in the comment section, do well to drop a comment. Thank you very much. keep building in. Let me know if you can hear me, and then you were here yesterday. If there were some things you learned yesterday that you'd love to let us know about today, please feel free to do that in the comment section. Yesterday we had a very amazing section yesterday where we had our amazing speakers deliver on different kind of topics. We had the Revolve talk about how to scale your business with the use of AI. We had Lovett walk us through the section on how to automate everything using Zapier, right? And today we also did have an AI agent section yesterday, and I believe you must have gotten so much value from all of those sections yesterday. Now today we are even taking it a notch higher. We are going way beyond what we did yesterday. So today we are going to be having a section on AI agents. Everybody is going to be coming live. Right, to join, we have Jerry, we have David. Today is just going to be super explosive. So if there are things you can expect, especially to learn how to find your career trajectory, to know how to get back into the right path, today is the day to get all of that knowledge right at your fingertips. So today is literally going to be explosive. And also, like and like we did mention, we'll be giving out $5,000 worth of sponsorship today to about 250 people. So if you're joining in and you have an app idea, I'm going to advise you to start refining that idea, because as time goes on, as you are progressing, you are going to need to give us all of that idea, and you have to select and disburse this funding for you to be able to build your app. So do hang in there. I'm going to go off screen now, but just know that we are putting things together at the back end to bring up our first speaker. So do hang in. For the first section, we're going to be having an amazing speaker. But before I bring him on, Jay, I would love to know if you're ready for us now. Can you give me a response? Jerry, are you there?
Yes, I am here. I can hear you clearly.
Okay, amazing. So everyone, I'd love you to get yourselves ready as we welcome one of the most amazing speakers you've probably ever heard from. I don't know if you've met Jerry. So let me read out a brief thing about him. Um, Jerry Kanyinebi is the founder of Fusion Circle, a digital creator and instructional designer, and also an e-learning specialist. Jerry has worked with learning platforms across the globe, building a lot of amazing things, right? So Jerry is going to come today to give us, to help you connect the missing dots for most African techies who are stuck at the point of transition in their tech careers, helping lift the mental work needed to make a clear career decision. So Jerry is going to bring perspective to everything you've been confused about, right? So I need you to sit tight and while we have Jerry's section. So the next voice you're going to hear after mine is definitely Jerry. So Jerry, over to you.
Okay. So can everybody see me? Can everybody hear me? I'm trying to go through the comment section to see if I know any names or faces here, because I know I saw someone who looks very, very familiar. Well done, everyone. Thank you so much, Mr. Awesome. Thank you for the opportunity, DEXA, for having me here. I know, okay, I think I've seen the person that I recognize. I greet you. I know it's been an amazing time, the conference, talking about so many things in terms of artificial intelligence, building quality products and all. And it's my desire that the session we're going to be having today is basically like a fresh air. We're going to be stepping back from talking about automation. We're going to be stepping back from talking about web development, and we're going to be talking about you. All right. Right now, the major focus for this session is you. So I would really, really like you to pay attention and follow me. I will be sharing my slides. Don't be distracted by the fine, beautiful images on the slides. And I want us to go on a journey on introspection, right? We're going to be talking about career transition, how to design your career trajectory. I know on this call, we have persons who are just starting their journey, who have questions in terms of, well, how do I begin? How do I start? Which field do I go into? How do I know the path to follow? Everyone, right now, tech is trending in Nigeria, it's trending in Africa. Everybody wants to go into it, but very few people know the direction to go. And there are some persons here, sorry to say, there's some persons here who are so hungry to learn on this call who really have no business being in tech. There's some persons here who the current skills you have no business being in that field at all. There are some of you here, the current role you have, the current organization that you are working in, you have no business there. But because you really do not know the next steps to take, you are not able to understand how your times and seasons shift. It's not really easy to know. So we're going to be talking quickly. Permits me to quickly share my slide. All right. So if you can see my screen, please tell me. Can everyone see my screen? If you can see my screen, please.
Not yet. Your screen is not live yet.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yes, I'm turning it on now, so your screen is live now. Yes, we can see you.
Amazing. Okay, awesome. So, welcome everyone. Once again, special appreciation. So, like I said, we're going to be talking about career transition, how to define your career trajectory, how to know the steps to take to move from where you are to where you are meant to be. Hearing the so many voices you are hearing in terms of artificial intelligence, so many voices you are hearing in terms of this. I also know here that there are people on this call who there are different fields you've been targeting, but you don't even know how to go about it, right? Some of you don't even know that it's possible to move from one field to the other. Let's say you're here on this call, you're a graphics designer, you're not getting the best out of that field. You are in web development and you've been a web developer, you call yourself a web developer, in the last 3 years, you've not experienced any growth, and you're asking yourself, what do I really need to do? So this is going to be giving you a trajectory on how to move into a field, how to plan yourself in that field and move as fast as possible. So let's talk about something quickly about myself. My name is Kanyinebi. I'm a training coordinator, developer, an instructional designer, e-learning developer. I'm a speaker, trainer. Basically, I thrive in the field of learning and development. And my passion and my zeal is to help organizations, industries, and sectors bridge knowledge gaps. I create systems for knowledge transfer within industries, and I develop systems for employee growth, branding, and development. But for the sake of this call, one of the things I'm really, really passionate about is providing guidance and support to professionals who desire to make a career transition, who desire to move from one field to another. Little thing about me, I made a transition from graphics design. I spent over 6 years in the field of graphic design, and I decided to make a transition to learn and development. It was a huge move for me, but because of some of the secrets I'm going to be sharing on this call today, I was able to achieve a lot of things in just 1 year. In just 1 year of moving into my field, I was able to hold the very first. Now, Office Park is an international event that started in Romania. It has held in Paris, US, Germany, and now I was one of the first persons to bring it. Not one of, I think currently I'm the only person who has brought that event to Africa, and it was held in Abuja in the month of May. The secret I'm going to be sharing will show you how I went about that. Currently, I am the first Nigerian Geniali ambassador. Geniali is a learning software which I'm using right now. If you are enjoying my slides so far, it's a learning software used to develop trainings, courses, games. Tech experts use it to develop systems and frameworks, and I am their first ambassador in Nigeria, right? And I'm going to tell you how I went about that. Also, I am also one of the first Nigerian of big fellows, and because of this, I have been invited to speak in programs, conferences, career fairs, and basically created systems for impact, right? And I've worked with a wide range of organizations in the last few years. So now, this is what we're going to be talking about on this call. I'm switching from one tab to the other because I want to see the comment sections, and at the same time, I want to be sure that you guys are following me. If you are here, please can you drop an emoji so I can know that you're here quickly. You have 10 seconds. Everyone, if you can follow me, if you can hear me clearly, drop an emoji. Someone said, I pray one day I will bring something new to Nigeria. The truth is you can, and I'm going to show you how. Come on, drop an emoji quickly. I don't have so much time. They gave me very, very little time, so I want to share the most I can share with the time I have. I can't see any message in the comment section. Please let me know that you are here. I need 2 more emojis before I continue. Come on. Awesome. Amazing. Now, so there are some the things we're going to be navigating in this session is, number one, we're going to be answering questions, right? Very important questions that you need to answer, all right, at this phase in your career. Then we're going to be talking about career transition, how to know if you should transition, how to navigate your transition seasons. Then I'm going to be giving you a very, very simple system for building your career roadmap, how to come into a field and say, okay, from here, this is what I want to do in the next 3 years, in the next 5 years, and these are the steps I will take to get there. That's what I'm going to be showing you. And then we're going to be having a very important conversation about legacy. Very, very important. So quickly, are you guys ready? Now, the very first question I needed to ask. Now, I wish this was a platform where people could unmute their mics and speak, but then I would like to see it in the comment section. So tell me, if I want you to ask yourself this question, if I had all the money in the world, what would I be doing for the rest of my life? I need you to quickly type. If you had all the money in the world, if you had every single, in fact, let me to our host, let me even put you on the spot now to give you like 10 seconds to answer that question. Sir, if you had all the money in the world, what would you be doing for the rest of your life?
Okay, if I had the money in the world, I'd probably retire to a very good island somewhere around, somewhere in Africa, and then write romance books.
Romance? Oh wow, that I didn't see that answer coming. Oh my god. Okay. Wow.
Absolutely.
Okay. Someone said charity. Okay. Invest in digital markets. Okay. Come on. Keep it coming. Now, the reason why I asked this question is because when you are trying to design your life, where you're trying to design a direction for your life, these are questions that you need to ask for you to know. Questions like this help you have an understanding of where you are headed, helps you have an understanding of what is ahead for you, and it can also help you design.
Okay. I think Jerry might be having little technical issues, so we're just going to hang in and let Jerry reconnect, and then he can quickly
Here, I don't know if you can
come
hear
back
me.
in.
I'm actually here.
Yes, Jerry, you're back. You're back.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, of
So
course
for
we
those of
can.
you who are just starting, now I don't mean persons like Mr. Awesome that have been doing great things in their field. For those of you who are just starting, who you want to define your life trajectory, all right? If you had all the money, people said, oh, invest more, I'll open more businesses and employ people. This question goes to show you, don't worry, I'll try to navigate to the network, but we'll do our best. Sorry, it's how Nigeria is. Your answer to this question should be one of the things that determine how you design your career trajectory. It should determine the field you transition to. It should determine the goals you set for your career. If you had all the money in the world, what would you be doing? Now, I want you to take note of these questions, like these answers. Take note of this and write them down somewhere, because this will serve as the foundation which you are using to design your life direction and your career trajectory. It's also you are also going to use to define how it ends. Like for Mr. Kingsley, his own ends with writing romance novel. So the very moment I see him launch a romance novel, I know that this man has retired from tech. All right. So the next question I want you to ask is, how do you know? Ask yourself, how do I know I am in the right field, organization, or industry? How do you know you are in the right field? How do you know you're in the right industry? How do you know you're in the right organization? The next question I need to ask yourself is, are you here just for the money or for a larger cause? Are you here just for the money? Because when it comes to tech, we talk so much about money. Oh, I want to make money, millions, paid in thousands of dollars, and it's beautiful. But the truth is, if money is the only thing that drives you in your career, you will find yourself making a lot of mistakes, right? Next thing, do I see a future for me in this field? You are in data analysis, you are in web development, whatever tech field you are in. Do you see a future for yourself? And if they ask you, how do you picture your life in the next 3 years? Do you see yourself doing something tangible in that field? The final question is, who has become better by virtue of the work that you do? Who has become better, right, by the virtue of the work that you do? Now, these are questions that I need you to ponder on throughout this session, all right, as you navigate to now. What is career transition? Now remember, what is transition? First of all, transition simply means moving from one phase to another. All right. Transition simply means moving from one phase to another. It means creating a new system. Now, one thing you need to understand about transition is transition can both be internal and it can be external. For example, 2024 ended and 2025 began. That was a transition that happened, right? You basically moved from one year to another one. Talking about career transition, what is career transition? Career transition is a conscious move from one role, job, occupation, organization, sector, or industry to another. It is a progressive and intentional process that is engaged with high level of confidence, boldness, even in uncertainty. Am I making sense? Someone said I should slow down. Oh my God, I try to meet up with my time. All right. Can you guys hear me? Are you guys following me? Career transition is the process of making a conscious move. Now, if you just finished the university and you want to get a job, you are transitioning. You are transitioning from being a student, especially those of you who you studied agriculture, you studied medicine, and the course you studied is different from the field you are going into. You're on a transition journey because you are actually making a drastic change. Right now, it is a progressive and intentional process. It's not just something you say, I want to go into AI automation today. I want to become a data analyst tomorrow. No, it is very intentional. It is progressive. Even in uncertainty is a move that you have to make with a lot of boldness in different forms. Okay, it can be internal sometimes. What does it mean? Basically moving from one high level of mindset to another. You used to think like a poor person before, or you had a very, very bad character or bad personality or bad disposition, and now you decided to grow and you evolved. That's what transition is. So career transition can happen in a system. How do I mean? As a system, you can decide to move from one role to the other. For example, you are moving from graphics design to product design. You are moving from website design to videography, right? Basically switching from one role to another. Also, it can also be large scale, right? You are deciding to change your field entirely. So you are moving from tech to medicine, or you are moving from medicine to tech. Is this making sense, right? So that is what transition is all about. Now the question is, what happens during career transition? What happens during career transition? All right. For those of you who are wondering what I'm using to present, I'm like I said, I'm an ambassador of Genially. I'm the representative in Nigeria. Genially is a tool that you can use to create very, very interactive presentations. So feel free to check their website, create an account, and see the magic you can create. So what happens during transition? When you're making a transition from one field to another, you are evolving. See, one thing I've learned about you is it affects the kind of person you are. You don't just move from, if you are moving from one field to another and it's not changing something in you, then there's a problem. You evolve as a person. Your perspective and your disposition towards your career begins to change. Before, you used to be very, very laid back. If you were a graphic designer, sorry, I'm using graphic design because that's the field I was in before I moved into this field. So I know quite a deal about it. A graphic designer here, you felt, all I need to do is just design 3 flyers for this week, 20K, and I'm good to go. But when you find yourself making a transition, you told yourself, I want to make a difference. I want to do something more. People who transition are people who want to do something more. They want something more out of their life. They want to make more money. They want to make more impact. They want to create more results. They want to make more change. By virtue of that move you are making, automatically your perspective about everything begins to change. Next thing, you begin to acquire new skills. You begin to study more about your new phase. You begin to build new relationships, networks. You begin to get new certifications. Now, how do you know it's time to transition? This is very, very important. Let me quickly explain this with the few minutes I have. How do you know? You have to make a transition? Please, if you are following me, if I'm too fast, let me know. If what I'm saying is making sense, the tool I'm using is called Genially. If what I'm saying is making sense, please let me know. So now, how do you know it's time to make a transition? When your life season demands more than your current reality offers. Man, you have looked at yourself. You want to make a difference, right? You want to make a change. You want to make more money. You want to achieve more. You just wake up one day, just realize that the kind of life I dream of having, the kind of career I dream of having, this job that I'm doing cannot help me get there. You begin to realize that, Kai, what I desire for, my current reality cannot give it to me, right? You start becoming uncomfortable. Some of you, how do you know transition is calling you? You find yourself becoming very uninterested in your work. I mean, this job, I don't like this job again, Seth. Like, I'm tired of to the point. There are some of you, I don't know who has experienced this, to the point that even when you are doing a job that gives you money, you no longer find interest in that job. That role, that skill you have, it doesn't excite you anymore. There are so many persons on this call who can relate to what I'm saying, and you're probably in that phase right now. Nothing excites you anymore. You just know that I want something better. I want something more. When a client sends you a message, you answer your client quite all right. You deliver the gigs and everything, but you just know that, man, I'm tired. I want something more. It's a sign that you need to transition, right? You start finding yourself desire to achieve more. You lose excitement, even when money is involved. You don't feel appreciated. For those of you who have jobs, you don't feel appreciated. You feel invisible at work. That's a sign that it's time to move. to another job or to another role, right? You are no longer growing. No matter how you try, you are not growing. It seems as if there's a struggle. The work you are doing, it no longer aligns with your goals or your trajectory. The vision you set for yourself is no longer aligning, right? You find yourself desiring more opportunities. That's a sign, all right? Okay, so now, quickly, let's take a little break, right? I want you to answer me in the comment section. What is the biggest change you have ever had to make in life? It doesn't have to be career or anything. You have 30 seconds. Every one of you have 30 seconds to answer this quickly. What is the biggest change you have ever had to make in life? The time starts now. What is the biggest change you've ever had to make in life? Come on. Drop the comments, guys. Drop the comment, guys. I don't have time. Come on, talk to me. What is the biggest change you have ever? It could be you got married or you relocated to a new country. Just share in the comment section. It doesn't have to be something long. I'm still waiting. What is the biggest change you have ever had to make in life? Choosing morals and making impact. To be disciplined. Wow, that's good. Well done for doing that. Venturing into learning as a skill. As against, okay, to learn a skill. Wow. Okay. Converting from radio to tech. Wow, but I suffer. Wow. Wow, amazing. Okay. Our time is up. Okay, but I love the coming. Are you still here?
Yes, of course, with you. I'm sorry, did you remove your slide yourself?
Okay, it seems I
can see you, but I can't see your screen.
Did you remove I don't know what happened.
Okay, just add your slide back.
All right, let me just share.
I can see you.
Yeah. Let me just share. Okay, no, this is not.
I think I can see your slide now. Yes, it's back up.
Okay, all right. 1 second, please. So let me quickly move. But I hope what I'm saying is making sense so far, guys. I hope it's making a lot of sense. Okay. So the next stage now. So now we're going to be talking, right? What are some things lies that they've told you about career transition? Let me quickly address this before but the next thing we're going to be talking about now is I'm going to be presenting to you a roadmap that you can use. So whether you just came into the field, whether you've been in the field for a long time, I'm going to be giving you a roadmap that you can use to design your career trajectory. Number one myth that they've told you is, oh, you must have it all figured out. Listen, you don't always have to have it all figured out. You don't need to have it all figured out before you make a career transition, right? All you just need to know is this the move I need to make now? And then just make the move. Start doing the research. Start asking questions. Start connecting with people. Start learning skills. Go on YouTube. DEXA platform has a lot of skills there. If you know the skill you want to transition to, the field transition to, DEXA has courses on it. Fine. Take the courses. Take the skills on it, right? And pay for it. And you don't need to have it all figured out. Second thing is changing careers means you are failed in the old one. No. The fact that you move from radiology to tech doesn't mean you failed as a radiologist. No. You simply made a switch. And life is about growth, progress, and advancement, all right? That field is only for special people. No. Data analysis is not for only persons that know mathematics. Artificial intelligence is not only for Gen Z. You are not too old to make a transition, right? Now, they say you have to earn less. You don't have to earn less. right? Also, you have to start from scratch. No, you don't need to start from scratch. There are certain skills that someone said another lie is that women can't succeed in some fields. Thank you for adding that too. It doesn't matter whether you are a woman or it doesn't matter what your gender is, you can succeed in any field, right? So now, let's talk about this quickly. I'm looking at my time. So now, this guide I'm going to be showing you, can everyone see my screen? Can you see my screen? So I'm going to be showing you a guide. We're going to be going on a very, very quick journey. As someone who you are entering into a new field or you are learning a new skill and everything that they've taught you now. You want to do career automation, AI automation, everything, Web3 and everything. This is a very, very simple guide that would help you. Now, this topic I'm teaching is very, very broad, but I've been able to streamline it. If you have more questions to ask, maybe we could connect on LinkedIn or whatever, or you could find a way to reach me through the convener and we can talk more. So now the first thing, how do you draft it? The first thing is acquire the skills. Every industry has its demands in terms of skills, in terms of tools, qualifications. It's important that you get as much as you can. Now, how do you grow very, very fast in a field or in an industry that just came into, right? It's very, very simple. Everybody pay attention to this hack that I'm about to share. Identify the most difficult skill in that field and devote 6 months to 1 year learning it. See, this is how to move fast. This is how to find yourself having better pay, better opportunities. Identify the most difficult skills, those high level skills. Devote 6 months to 1 year learning it and tell me if you are not going to make a massive transition in your career, right? The next step is to pick an industry or a sector. Now, I understand that many of us would like to explore. You want to work for real estate, you want to work for oil and gas, please pick an industry, a sector, a niche that you want to focus on, right? It's very, very important. Pick one. If it's healthcare, you want to be a data analyst, providing data analysis, data infrastructure, whatever, for a healthcare industry. Focus on that. There is money there. You want to do for oil and gas or green energy. Just make sure you focus on an industry, right? The next step to take is networking. Connect with mentors, coaches, and peers in that industry. Build quality relationship with people, right? Have a mentor. Don't just watch Alex Homozi on YouTube. Don't just watch people on YouTube. Those are good, very, very good. Look for persons in Nigeria, in Africa that are doing well in that field and connect with them. Pay for their mentorship. Get a coach. Learn. Connect with fellow persons who have been in that field. Join communities. After you do that, you start building quality relationships. And in the process of that, ensure you build a good reputation, which will take you to the next thing. Now, identify problems in your field. Look for the gaps. How did I become a Genially ambassador? How did I become a Genially ambassador? I moved to the field of learning and development. Now, the field where I am in, the tools we use to work are very, very expensive. Oh God, you can spend up to as high as $1,500 for an articulate storyline, right? And then the place where I was working, I helped them discover this tool, and we're using it to develop our courses, our learning frameworks. And I asked myself, I realized that these people, they are not in Nigeria. So many of you are just hearing about Genially for the very first time. And I said, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I spent 2 weeks looking for emails of the persons who work in Genially. I said, I want to join these people. I want to work with them. So somehow I was able to get the email. I sent cold email. I told them, this is me. Learning and development is a field that is still green in Nigeria. It's a field that is still green. We don't have so many persons using these tools and everything. I want to be your representative here. It was a very bold move. I didn't know if they would answer me. But funny enough, 2 weeks later, I got an email. 1 week later, I had an interview. And next thing, I became the very first Nigerian ambassador. And now my work is to ensure that people, because their tools is, I think, around $10 a month, you have access to all the features, premium features. And by virtue of that, I'll be speaking in a major e-learning bootcamp, an African e-learning bootcamp later next month by virtue of this opportunity. I don't know if it's making sense. You have to, this is Nigeria. As Nigerians, we don't have time to be slacking. You have to use your street sense to carve out something for yourself. Now, this one is very, very important. The next thing, after you have done this, next thing you do is please and please, oh my God, I might have to switch devices very, very soon. Please and please get a job. Get a job. Now, I know many of you say, I want to be an entrepreneur. Please, if you are just coming into a field, if you are just learning a skill for the first time, please and please get a job. Learn that skill, do all these things I've said so far, get a job. Work there, get a job, and devote your skills and time to that job for the next 2 years. Now, it's not just going to help you build your portfolio, it's going to help you grow as a person. You're going to learn how organizations work. Now, especially when it's in the industry you are targeting. You will get exposed to projects, you get exposed to people and everything. Deploy your skills for at least 2 years. While you are doing that, start building your freelancing practice and start building your business structure. So don't just come into a field, don't just learn a skill and next thing you are looking for gigs. No, get a job. There's nothing wrong in getting a job. Get a job, devote at least 2 years there. And see, by the time you are leaving, you are equipped with knowledge and exposure to grow in your field. The next thing is to build a track record. How do you build a track record? Engage projects, collaborations on international level, join clubs. There are so many communities on data. There are associations. That thing you want to learn. There are platforms. Go on LinkedIn. Join these platforms. Attend their virtual events. They are free events. Leverage your transferable skills. Do your work excellently. Right? How do you do your work excellently? Every single work you do should be tied to transformational results. Every single result you want to achieve should be making the lives of people better. As you are doing that, document and showcase your work. Be loud. See, make noise about what you do. Make noise about the progress you are making. Make noise about the work that you are doing. If you don't make noise, see, I will not be speaking to you today if I didn't make some little noise. Right? But no need to go into the backstory. You have to put yourself out there. Am I making sense? Am I making sense? Am I making sense? Next thing you have to do after you have done all this, pursue higher roles. You can become a senior instructional designer, senior developer, and this. Now, why? By the time all these things that I've said, by the time you have done it, is your portfolio, is in your CV. It's not going to be difficult to get senior roles. It's not going to be difficult to get senior opportunities. I don't know if I'm making sense. Now, people say jobs are hard to get in Nigeria. Let me tell you something. If you know you want to make a difference, you want to make out something for yourself, please delete negative mindsets. People in Nigeria are getting jobs. I know someone that one of the contracts he just completed right now, he was paid about $10,000 for it. He's in Nigeria. He's based in Lagos. People in Nigeria are getting jobs. There is a way, but that's a different class. That's a different session. I don't want to go into that. Like, let me not talk. Let me not say anything much on that. Right? Now, which takes us to the final part of this. Crossroad. Now, after you have done all this, you are going to be faced with a dilemma. Right? After you have achieved so much, you're going to be faced with a dilemma toward as you move far in your career. You're going to have to decide, do I want to remain in this field or I want to explore new fields? Which is where, if you decide to say you want to stay in the field that you are in, you have to go on the path of legacy. And if you want to explore, you may have to go on a new journey. And this is a very confusing thing for many professionals. If you are here and you have achieved most of the things I said on this call, this is the point. Can you guys follow me? My network is glitching, but can you guys follow me? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
I'm about to round up. All right, awesome. Now, here we see an image of a lady who is in the tech industry. On one hand, she wants to know, should I be making impact in lives, or should I go on a new journey, a new career journey? You will find yourself at this point. When you find yourself, this is what you need to do. If you say you want to toe the path of legacy, what you need to do is this: start building legacy systems. There is nothing wrong if you write a book. You're a web developer, write a book. Now, don't just write a book on how to be a web developer. Nah. There are certain trends, certain problems, certain changes that are happening that you have discovered in your field. Write a book around it. Oh, how to design a style guide, how to design systems. Write books, and don't just write anyhow books. Write books that cater to a particular target audience in your line of work. Write books that either educates your customers or clients or educates people in your field. This is one of the ways to solidify yourself as an authority, right? Create an agency, create a business or anything. Go into advocacy. Don't just be a tech person. There are so many problems in the world today that tech can solve. Add your voice to the conversation. AI is taking over right now. Add your voice to the conversation. Organize trainings, organize classes, mentor young people, join international bodies, become influential in your field. This is how to toe the path of legacy as you draft your career trajectory, right? And if you are here and probably you don't want to do this yet, you feel you still have more oil in your engine, fine. You can decide to transition to a new field. You can decide to get a new job or relocate to a new country. But whatever you want to do, ensure that everything is tending towards impact. I hope I've been able to share so much today. Thank you so much for this little time. If you have any questions, you can ask Mr. Kingsley. Thank you so much for the opportunity. This was a very, very short time. I hope I was able to teach a lot in this very, very short time. I hope you've gotten some clarity. Thank you very much, guys.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Jerry. Thank you for such an insightful section. Like you said, it was on a very short notice, but I can assure you, you did deliver so much value within this short time. So I want to say thank you so much for that section. We did learn a lot. So guys, just like you said, if you have questions for Mr. Jerry, please do well to bring those questions up in the comment section, right? So, but before I continue, please, I need you to confirm that you can still hear me, so I don't I don't end up talking to myself. Okay, so please confirm you can hear me from your end in the comment section. If you can hear me, please do say something. Okay, so confirm that you can hear me. Hold on, please. Okay. All right. So okay. Thank you very much. Okay, guys. So thank you so much for staying through Mr. Jerry's section. Mr. Jerry has given you clarity on how to transition your career trajectory. A lot of us have been I've met a lot of people who have had to work with this confusion with regards how to move from one point in their career to the next. So this has been a very awesome one. So just to put things in the right perspective. The next section we're going to be having, or the remaining sections we'll be having, will include a section from Erin Booth. We'll have one from the Mocha CEO. We'll have the panel section, and then we will decide who our winners are. So I believe if you participated in one of the challenges we had online, you should be expecting your winning prize anytime from now. And then also, remember we said there's a $5,000 voucher to share. So how to get this voucher is start thinking about what app you're going to build as a Vibe coder. So if you have any app you've always thought about building, you've thought about developing, this is the right time to start thinking about it now. After the conference, we are going to send out an email for everyone who has registered for you to fill up the form and let us know what app you'll be working on. We'll be selecting 250 people to share this $5,000 across to them. So just keep that idea coming, keep building on it. If you have a team you want to work with on that idea, please do speak with that team, because at the end of the day, you're going to have to start developing it as soon as you can. So the next section that we're going to be having is going to be a section by myself, and it's going to be about tech clarity, which is one of the most important parts of, like I told you, today has most of our stop in lessons. Yesterday was explosive, today even promises to be way more explosive. So the next section, I'm going to be addressing what I call tech clarity. A lot of people are in tech, but they are just missing all the things. A lot of people are running helter skelter all around. Let me use that word for it. So I'm going to bring clarity to all of the confusions you might probably be having with regard to your tech career. So the next voice you'll be hearing is mine, of course, right? So we're going to be going to the next thing and see you there. Okay, I'm back in front of you. So we're going to be having this section now on gaining tech clarity. You know, one thing it's one thing to be in tech, and it's another thing to know exactly what you are doing. Okay, I think the audio is not. Okay, so it's one thing to be in tech, and it's an entirely different ball game to know exactly what you're doing in tech. And I believe if you're here listening to me, I know we have a whole lot of people here who I wouldn't want to use the word confused, but who are not, really certain about, you know, about their tech careers. You literally do not know what direction you want to go. And at some point, it looks like you're doing every single thing and then nothing is working out. So in this section, we are going to have to clarify, to bring clarity to that confusion you might be having, right? So please do hang in there while we have an amazing time. All right. So I'll be turning my slide from time to time to read out a couple of things that I'll be addressing. So first things first, clarity kills confusion, right? So most people don't fail in tech because they are not smart. They fail because they are scattered. Clarity is your sharpest weapon. So today you wake up, you want to do UI UX design. The next day you hear that virtual assistance is the in thing. Yeah, you're reading about virtual assistants. Then you go to church, you speak to this guy in your church. Always those guys that wear tuxedo to church, and then the guy tells you, "Hey, bro, prompt engineer is the end thing." Then you go back. You've abandoned your web design career. You've abandoned your UI UX design. You want to do prompt engineering. Now, clarity kills confusion. If you're confused like this, then one thing that is missing certainly from you is clarity. You need to bring clarity to your career. See, you need to plan yourself as a startup. Treat yourself the way startups treat themselves. What do startups do? Startups pick up a problem and build a solution around it. Now, this is what you should be doing for yourself. Pick up one problem, build yourself as a solution around it. So, if you're going to be learning a skill, let it be a skill that is going to address a problem. You shouldn't be everywhere, right? So, when you jump from one thing to the other, you wouldn't be able to settle. But look for a problem. The best way to seek out for a skill to learn is to identify a problem that you would be happy to solve. If you don't identify that, it will be very difficult for you to pick up a skill, right? So look for a problem you would be extremely excited to solve. When you find a problem like that, having to learn a skill wouldn't be difficult. So if you think you would love to solve the problem of busy CEOs who don't have a lot of time to do the things they would love to do because they are so occupied with work, then the virtual assistant space might be for you. Now, this is you finding a problem you're passionate about. You love to be somebody's executive assistant. You love to be that guy they would always call on to do one or two things for them. Then you found where you should be, right? So the skill you would learn should be tied to a problem you're willing to solve. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. I'll run this quickly so we can have our panel section as well. So you need to treat tech as a map. So let's talk about tech as a map. Knowing your destination in technology is crucial. Without it, every option might seem appealing, leading to aimless wandering in your journey. So you need to know your destination in this tech thing. You don't have to be everywhere, like I've said. You need to know your destination, know where exactly you want to go, have a roadmap for your career. Decide, see, when you start off a journey without a plan, you will literally go anywhere. So imagine you step out of your house in the morning and then you walk into the street of your area, let me use the word for it. You walk into that street and then you're literally just walking, you don't have anywhere you want to go. You would face any direction that comes around. But the best way to tackle this is to have um, um, know your destination. It is crucial because without it, every option you see becomes appealing. Every niche you see becomes something you want to do. And as someone who wants to move further in tech, it's not something you want to do for yourself. I can assure you of that. That is extremely not what you want to do. So focus on what matters. Focus on where you're going to. Focus on where you have interest in. Because without that, you wouldn't be able to know exactly what's best for you and how to tackle that thing that is best for you. So have a map and know exactly where you're going to. At the third slide, stop drowning in trends. In the fast-paced technology world, it is very crucial to identify which trends truly matter to your goals and objectives. So rather than getting lost in the noise, just stop drowning. A lot of things are going to become trendy. People are doing so many amazing stuff. People will keep doing amazing stuff. Things are going to trend from time to time, but just know exactly what trends should matter to your goals and objectives, right? If Canva is bringing out new stuff to do and all of that, and your field is genuinely not graphic designing, you don't have any business trying to, you know, be there. You want to just do everything that comes around. It doesn't work that way. You must put your mind on something, and if you must follow trends, it has to be trends that are aligned with your destination. It has to be trends that match up with where you're going at the point. You shouldn't have yourself getting into every single thing that comes around. Have that focus. So pick a skill and not noise. Pick skills. So most tech bros that you know, they talk about frameworks, they talk about tools and buzzwords. But the real winners ask, which one pays me? Which one grows me? And which one makes me relevant? So if any skill you're going to pick does not give you satisfactory answers to these three important questions, then you're probably doing the wrong thing. The real winners, like I said, they are going to ask which of these skills is going to pay me, which of these skills is going to grow me, and which of these skill makes me relevant. It is when you're able to answer this question that you've truly started maxing out the noises you have around you. So pick up a skill and not noise. Okay, let's move quickly to the next slide. I want to rush this section so we can have more time in the panel section. So confusion is expensive. Every wrong course, every wasted subscription, or every dead project drains your wallet and your time. Clarity is not luxury, it is survival. When you are confused in what you want to do in tech, you would literally you waste money, you waste time, you waste your data subscription, you work on projects that you want to even finish and you abandon them. This is what lack of clarity does. But when you've nipped it in the bud, when you've been able to address that problem that has to do with lacking clarity, you've solved almost 80% of your problem. Know exactly where you want to be, what you want to do. If you want to launch a health tech product, a product that solves a health problem, know exactly that this is what you would love to do. And when you've set your mind on that, when you've been able to, come to terms with the fact that this is what you want to build on, growing in that field is going to be very easy because now you have a definite direction you'd want to go. So all of your dreams, all of your visions, all of your ambition is going to be aligned exactly with that place you've set your mind to go. Confusion wouldn't have to cost you all of that anymore, right? So when you and of course I believe you already know when you start working on projects and you don't get to complete them, it has a way of discouraging you and draining a whole lot of your being. So this is something you must get out of the way if you must find tech clarity. Number 8, if you can't explain it until you can break down your chosen path in simple words, you are not clear. until you can break down your chosen path in simple terms. Then you're not clear. Complexity is a red flag that must be addressed. So if you've chosen something you want to do and you can't even explain to someone else what part exactly you're going through, you can't even explain to the next person what field you want to play in, then my friend, you are not ready. So you need to be able to break down that tech part you want to do. When somebody asks about it, you can easily explain it to them. If it's project management you want to do, if it's software development and what you want to achieve in software development, if you can't put this in simple terms, so in choosing a skill, in choosing a career path, choose things that you've understood, things that you've researched, and if they wake you up by 4 a.m. in the morning, you can easily explain this thing to people. Without that, you would probably be doing what everybody is doing. And at the end of the road, you don't even have a goal. You don't have what you want to achieve. You don't have, something you've already planned out for yourself. So before you start investing time, investing money, investing knowledge, investing everything you investable, ensure it's a part you can explain in simple words. You have to be clear. Look at yourself in the mirror, explain that thing to yourself. If it makes sense to you, then go ahead with it. But if it doesn't make sense, then there are chances that you would need to make some adjustments here and there. Okay? You need to use mentors. Mentors are shortcuts. That's just the truth. Not everybody might know this, but when you have mentors in what you want to do, so you literally embrace shortcuts. Mentors are just clarity shortcuts. So 6 months of confusion can be reduced to 6 minutes with the right person. You don't have to worship them, just borrow their map. There is something you might want to figure out, and it's taking you 6 months to figure it out. The truth is, if you have someone to hold your hands, that thing could literally just cost you just 6 minutes. So this is what um, mentors do for you. So in your journey I mean, Mr. Jerry mentioned something similar when he was speaking. So your journey to finding the right career path for you, you need to decide to have someone to walk you by the hand. There are people who has gone the path you would want to go. There are people who would want to do what you want to do. There are people who have done it. They have results. They've gone through the experience. They've seen the pain. They know exactly what you want to do. So if you can get some of these people around you, it is going to cut down your years. See, this is how I see mentorship, right? I see mentorship as, if I have someone in business, let's say I have someone in tech business who has been in tech for, let's say, 10 years, right? They've launched products that have done millions of dollars. And then I want to do something similar to what they are doing. This is how mentorship works. When you get somebody like that to mentor you, you're literally borrowing from the 10 years of experience they have compounded. So this is you adding 10 years to your 1 year. This is you adding experience to the ones you don't have. So you need to get a mentor. It will reach. Don't be a solo soldier. Listen, Africa, as it is today, is already disadvantaged in a lot of ways. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Africa is disadvantaged in a lot of ways. So you don't have all the time to start figuring things out yourself. I know you might say finding mentorship is difficult, but come on, go on LinkedIn. You will see some of these people who have achieved great things and will be open to answer questions you may have. Mentorship doesn't even start with you officially having a contract of mentorship with them. It could start with simple questions. Look for those people you admire their work. Look for those people you admire what they've been able to build. Reach out to them with questions from time to time. Hello, I've seen you've been able to do this. I've been working on this for a long time and I feel I'm stuck. Could you please give me clarity on this? As simple as that. Tell them what you're doing. Tell them what you want to get clarity on, and also offer value in return. So you don't be the person who is always taking and taking and taking. And the value you're going to offer could be something as little as something you can't even imagine can be that little. It could be just engaging in their post. You could be helping them repost offers they have. You could be, offering to do things for them if they don't mind. So when people see that you're bringing value and you're also asking valuable questions, they will most likely open themselves up to you. So this is something that you must commit yourself to doing. Get a mentorship. Mentorship is going to take you miles ahead in your career, please. Um, and number 10, clarity is the cheat code. So in tech, clarity doesn't just speed you up; it puts you years ahead of the guys still figuring things out. This is just aligning also with the last slide I just talked about. Clarity accelerates your progress. It provides that competitive edge. So when you've gotten clarity, right, you're like miles ahead of the person who is just trying to figure things out. And in clarity, clarity doesn't mean you didn't have the time to figure things out. Clarity is knowing exactly what you want to do. Avoid being everywhere. Avoid letting the waves, move you to and fro. Know exactly that thing you want to do. Set your heart to it. If you want to excel as a designer, please pour your all into it because it's going to guide the direction you're learning towards. If you want to excel as a project manager, see, there are project managers doing an amazing job. If you want to excel as a project manager, pour yourself into it. When you do this, it is going to, you know, expose you to the knowledge, to the people, to the circle, to the just literally everything you need to succeed. But clarity has to come first. Deciding what to do has to come first. Don't be everywhere. We've trained at DEXA now. We've trained at least 64 to 65,000 people so far. I've seen people take several courses and then they don't get to follow up on the skill. You see, I'm not saying taking all those several courses is wrong. It is not wrong place. There's always a place to gain knowledge and all of that. So you can get all of the knowledge you want, but then you need to start implementing. I've seen people do so many things, but when it comes to implementation is zero. The same guy has taken the project management course. He's still not employed in it. Taking the virtual assistance course, not employed in it. Cybersecurity, web development, web design, UI UX design. And when we release the next course, the same person is coming back to. Honestly, this is not what we want to achieve. We don't want you taking courses. We want you taking once or twice and then getting jobs with it. That is exactly why we exist. But when you have to, keep running around the circles, not, being clear exactly what you want to achieve, you would find yourself taking every course that comes out. So take one, invest time and energy in it. Take one, pour yourself into it. Take one, start looking for jobs around it. Offer free services. So when you're clear on the path you want to go, it becomes way more easier to excel in that path. But when you're not clear, everything is sexy, everything is nice. You'd want to be everywhere. So that is not what you want to do, right? So to round this section up before we get into the panel section, of which after the panel section, we'll be going to Erin Booth's section. We've waited for Erin Booth's section for so long, man. Right? So before we get into that, I'd love to put this out. So one of the reasons DEXA exists as a company is because we want to cut down the involvement of young people in cyber fraud. I don't know if you've ever had to attend an interview as a Nigerian. I don't know if you've ever had to qualify for a tech role and then you get denied of that thing simply because you're Nigerian. Now, these people, you won't even blame them, right? So when they do this, I see some of our people start accusing them of racism, and it has nothing to do with racism. There is a reputation that Africans and mostly West Africans have, people from Nigeria, people from Ghana, and from some African countries. There's a reputation we have that stinks. And this reputation didn't just start. It is because the very minority among us have made it their job to steal from innocent people through what we call Yahoo Yahoo. They've hurt people, they've stolen from unsuspecting victims, they've done, despicable things that have put us in that light. That when you mention that you're Nigerian, they're already very careful of you. They might be laughing, they might have had meetings now. I've had interviews. They might be acting all good, but you would sense this reservation. You would know that this person, really, let me use pigeon, really want to run them for you. You get. But there's nothing you can do because the reputation is there. So one thing I want to assure you is one thing I would want to advise on rather is on this tech path that you've taken, keep your hands clean. Avoid anything that puts you in that place to start being questioned about your financial integrity. Avoid anything that puts your name, anything that adds a question mark to your name. Any way people understand you to be today is how they are going to rate every other person there. Let's say you're from Ghana and then you have business deal with someone, and at the end of the day you scam that person. Let me assure you one thing: it is not just yourself that you are soiling your name, you're soiling the name of everybody from Ghana. So when that person comes in contact with a new Ghanaian, he's already thinking this guy is going to scam me or this guy must scam me, right? So it is our job to start rebuffing. It is our job to start changing that perspective these people have of us. We can't force them to change their perspective, but we can change the way we behave when things are handed over to us. When you're given a job, meet up to it. When you're given a task, deliver on it. When you're paid for something, do exactly what you're paid for. I shouldn't even be talking about this, but this is where we are. We've seen situations where these people come online, you see Nigerian post something, you go to the comment section, they are talking about an African prince that he's probably trying to scam someone as a, all of this, it irks me. I don't know how you feel when you come across things like that, but it messes up my mind. But we can change that narrative when we start putting out content that practically changes this view in their minds. So how do you do that? One, meet up to standards, do what you're supposed to do when you're supposed to, and keep your hands clean. Secondly, start putting content that project people from your country. Now I'm using Nigeria because I am a Nigerian. There are scammers in Ghana, there are scammers in South Africa, there are scammers in Rwanda, Kenya, even in the US, in India, and Pakistan. But this is us. Our problem is what we have to handle. Let the people there handle their own problems. I'm speaking from this point because I am a Nigerian. I have every right to speak about Nigeria, right? When you get to your own country, you can address it, because if I do now, I can call names, so, but if I do, you would say I'm putting your country up there as, but we have to tell ourselves the truth. When we keep sugarcoating this thing, the bad eggs among us keep doing things that hurt the rest of us. It might not affect you now, but you would probably cry yourself to sleep when you're denied an opportunity that should come to you, but was taken away simply because of where you're from. Nobody should have to go through that. But then this is the reality we are living today. So I would round up my section on that note, hoping that everyone who has listened would consistently keep their hands up straight. See, money not the finish. That money you don't steal now, you can still work for it and get that same amount of money. That car you want to ride through your tech career, focus on what you're doing first. Let me see that demon that will stop you from achieving, but just keep your hands up straight. When you steal from people, it makes you a fugitive. You're not free. Sometimes those countries even, flag you up and they are looking for you. They deny you visa, and even when they are offering you the visa, is to catch you like a small thief. They will catch you, chum. So this is not what you want to do for yourself. Right? So put your hands up straight and just give your 100%. The way, if I am hiring a Kenyan and that Kenyan delivers value, that is the way I'm going to judge every Kenyan. There is nothing anybody can say about it. If I hire somebody from South Africa and he messes up, that is the way I am going to judge every South African. If I hire a Nigerian and his ways are not right before the Lord, that is the way I am going to judge every Nigerian. There is no sugarcoating it. We must learn to tell ourselves the truth. Right? So thank you so much for paying rapt attention to this section. We're going to have a 2 minutes break. Sorry, 1 minute break rather. So within that time, the panelists will be getting ready. So we're going to be having David. You don't know what David Chima is. David is coming up. David is a lot to say about David, man. David has built platforms. He has secured funding running into, okay, he doesn't like me calling his figures publicly, but David is doing an amazing job. He's the CEO, founder and CEO of Kuraway. He worked on Bondly. They have done so many amazing things, building a lot of startups and, securing fundings here and there and making massive profit. So David is a tech bro. per achievement. The guy is amazing. So he's going to be joining I and Jerry in the next section where we have so please, I know questions might be coming up in the comment section. Maybe during the panel section, I'm going to handle all of the questions. So in the next 1 minute, we'll be having the panel section. So do hang in there while we go on a music break. So in the next 1 minute, we'll be listening to the panelists. Thank you very much. Meanwhile, if you have questions, keep them coming in the comment section. And okay, maybe let me even address a couple of questions. Let me check. Do you have questions there? Okay, there are no questions yet. But if you have questions, do drop them in the comment section. And the next summit, like I have said for the 100th time, will be coming up to have the panel section. Thank you very much. Okay, before I bring the panelists up, so someone in the comment section is asking, his name is Charles. He said he saw a problem that needs tech solution, but the environment he's surrounded in, the environment he's in, is not tech savvy. How should he go about this? Whether he should relocate or something. Charles, if you found a problem within your environment that needs a tech solution, so the best thing for you to do is to not run away from that problem. Your environment doesn't have to be tech savvy, but you can build that. If you think tech is what it is going to take to solve that problem, then you should probably build a tech product around that problem and sell it to people who has the problem. If people really have that problem, then when you solve it, people would buy into it. But if you feel that environment is not tech savvy, then it probably does not need a tech solution. There could be an alternative. If it's an environment that wouldn't embrace the tech you're bringing in to solve that problem, then probably that problem does not need a tech solution. But if you're sure that problem is one that needs um, um, a tech solution, you should probably still build it. But if not, then you don't have any business building a tech around it. If the people who have the problem will not solve it with your tech, then there is no point building it. But then again, if this problem is one that you're certain it is a problem that also exists in other locations, then come on, you're free to go on those other locations to find people who are willing to pay for the solution you're going to have for it. But beyond that, there is not so much you can do with regards to that. I don't know if this answers your question. Okay, so sorry for our boring music. So we're going to quickly go into the panel section. We don't have so much time left. So after the panel section, we can stream a Booth section. We can go to Mocha section where you learn how to build AI apps with AI. Okay, so I'm bringing up our panelists right now, David and Mr. Jerry Kanyinebi. Okay. Hi, David. Confirm you can hear me, please.
Hi, Victor. Good
Okay.
afternoon.
Thank you, David. Yes, you're welcome. Yeah, Mr. Jerry, confirm you're there and you can hear me as well.
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, so we're going to be having our panel section now. So this section has to be a really interactive one, and then it's going to be really straightforward. We're going to be asking a couple of questions, and then you provide us with answers you believe are most suitable to them. Right? Are we ready? Okay. All right. So my first question goes to Mr. David, Mr. David Chima. So Chima, many people get stuck trying to learn everything at once. What advice would you give on staying focused on one part? Many people get stuck in trying to learn everything at once. What advice would you give on staying focused on one part?
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. So I think distraction is normal, right? I think first of all, I'll just try to how do I put it? I'll try to speak from my own point of view, right? So I started my journey in tech in 2019. Yeah, 2019, 2020. And nobody will believe why, because if I say it, it sounds very funny. Um, I've always wanted to build products, not basically tech products, but I think my very first idea in life was um, um, building like say palm oil, processing plants, right? So it's always been like regular boring business. I never thought it's going to turn out to be tech, but breakfast caused me to move into tech. I mean, I picked up a skill. I think I picked up UI UX at the time. And that was because I started a company without having the right knowledge, right? So I didn't know. I just started a company, wanted to build something around finance. I had no skill, and then I just realized that I actually needed a skill to move, into this space. So I think what I'm trying to say basically is that I've tried a lot of things, and because I've tried a lot of things, I probably understand what it feels like, having to try multiple things because most times it feels like I mean, you're at this point, and maybe that's one thing isn't working, right? So you want to really like pivot or move to the next thing, right? So this is what I would say. This is what I would say. It's good to be a generalist, but it's good to also have one thing which is your core. As a person, I know a lot of things, but I would always like to say, "Oh, I'm an ops person." All right. So if you wake me up tomorrow, maybe a fan wants to hire me and say, "Okay, what are you very good at?" I'll say, "I'm very good at business operations because business operations is my core." Right. And then it now evolves to every other thing, having to be, like a graphics design. I'm sorry, having to do know how to do UI UX, having to know how to do product management, having to know how to do project management, all of those things. All of those things just come under it. But what is your core? So I think it just comes to I think it comes to one thing, which is you should have one big goal. What is that one big thing for you, right? What is your core, which is the thing you want to focus on, and you should be in it for a very long time. And the reason I say you should be in it for the very long time is that the truth is in tech, just like every other field, outside in this world generally, consistency pays off, right? I mean, the more you stay with it, the more you see, you see the road gets clearer and clearer. Just like you're traveling down a road, let's say in the middle of the night, people who know how to drive, the cloud or the area is foggy and you have your headlights on, you're probably not seeing what's next. You're probably not seeing what's like in like 1 kilometer ahead of you, but you can see what's like maybe within the next 500 meters, right? You focus on getting ahead, keep going, keep going, keep going before you hit the next 1 kilometer. So I'm just trying to use illustration so that it doesn't sound like I'm speaking plenty grammar. So, but what I'm just trying to say is stick to one thing, pick one thing which is your core, stick to it. I mean, when I did paid employment, everything I did in paid employment was just operations. I never did UI UX. I never did project management. I never did product management. I was head of operations in the company at the time before I started the company that took off. So what I'm just saying in essence is, I think you should have a core. And when you have your core, it is good to pick up every other knowledge, but you must have a core, right? You see people in marketing, someone can say, oh, I'm a marketing specialist, or I'm a marketer. Do you understand? But it does not mean as a marketer, if you want to lead a team, let's say, for example, you want to grow to the crux of a career, you need to understand SEO, you need to understand paid ads, you need to understand traditional marketing, you need to understand, a lot of things that have to do with marketing. But that does not mean you don't have a core. So you have one thing which is your core, maybe marketing, and then you pick every other thing under, you know, under it as you go. As you climb the ladder, you pick every other thing. So some people start with SEO. You start with SEO, and then maybe you focus on it for the next 6 months, 1 year. You make your first 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, $5,000. You've mastered the art of SEO. That's a very good place money is coming in from. You can now move to say, okay, I want to let paid advertisements just to complement my SEO skills. From there, so I think just define his career path and then stick to it. That's just it in a nutshell.
Okay, thank you so much, David. I think that was a very insightful one there. You've really shared practical steps from your journey. It's even glad to know that you were once in paid employment. It's funny because see what you're doing now, bro. Man, it's amazing. Thank you very much for that. Okay, so we're going to quickly hear from Mr. Jerry. So, Mr. Jerry, your question is going to display on the screen, and I would also read that out for you. Hang in a minute, please. Okay. So, Mr. Jerry, once someone has acquired a skill and built confidence, how do they position themselves for remote jobs or international clients? I don't know if that's clear.
Sorry, can you guys hear me? It's raining heavily in Abuja, so I hope you guys can hear me clearly.
Yes, we can hear you.
All right, so yeah, as one who has acquired a skill and built confidence. Okay, so number one way to effectively position yourself is I'm going to be very, very practical on this. There are different platforms where you get to meet the persons or organizations that will need your skill. There are individuals, organizations, and institutions that are in demand. Now, depending on the skill that you have, right? First thing you need to do is to look for the right platform, right? You look for the right platform. The right platform could be freelancing platforms like Fiverr and Upwork, which many of us know about. It could be social media platforms like LinkedIn. I like laying emphasis on LinkedIn because it's a platform that many persons really don't know how to utilize, but it's a gold mine. By virtue of being on LinkedIn, you can find yourself connecting with a top CEO of a top organization. I think around early this year, when I was preparing for an event I wanted to do some months ago, I was having a conversation with head of learning, Central Bank of Nigeria. I forgot her name. I connected with her on LinkedIn from an event, told her this is what I do. And we started talking. This is somebody who, on a normal day, because of her protocol and everything, you may not have the opportunity. But we had that conversation via LinkedIn. Same with top international persons. So the platform, you have to find the right platform. Now, Second thing you need to do is to not just go and start selling. Oh, this is what I do. Come and buy or hire me. You have to position yourself. You have to build a personal brand. You have the skill, you have the confidence. Now let the skills show, let the confidence show in how well you display your personal brand, right? Your personal brand on social media, how you position yourself, how you set up your it's very practical, how you set up your profile, the picture. Some of you here, you are very skilled at what you do, but when we visit your page on Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn, it's as if the church is as if it's a crusade they are doing on your profile, right? Today you are talking about Chelsea. Tomorrow you are talking about Donald Trump. Next tomorrow you are posting church program and everything. And on your bio you say you are a web developer. You say you are an instructional designer. You say you are this. But then when people go through your profile, they don't see anything connected to what you do. So first thing to do is to optimize your profile, build your personal brand, start sharing content relating to what you do. And the best way to do that is to identify the problems you want to solve with your skill. Also identify the particular industry, field, or type of organization you would like to work with, or type of clients you would like to work. You can't work with everybody, right? So you need to have an understanding, what kind of clients or organizations do I want to work with? What kind of content draws their attention? What kind of information are they looking for? And then you align yourself, align your messaging. If you have to get better, I mean, don't just put out content anyhow. We have AI there to help you. When you drive the content, put it on ChatGPT to polish it up. I'm not saying you should use ChatGPT to generate your post, but develop original content aligned with the problems you want to solve. Use AI to polish it up, and put it out there. Then you start networking. All right. Now, the mistake most of us make is that when we connect with people that we would like to work with, international clients, we just go and tell them, oh, my name is this, I'm from Nigeria, I would like to work with you. No, there are ways to go about this, right? You can start by joining their events. You can start by joining their fellowships or being a part of what they are doing, dropping reasonable comments on their posts, you know, becoming visible. They always liking their posts, always commenting, all right, always being visible with what they are doing. And then when you finally get the chance to be in their DMs, I'm talking about LinkedIn now, even on Instagram too, it still works. When you finally even on Facebook too, yeah. When you finally get the chance to be in their DMs, instead of just saying, oh, I'm a graphic designer, oh, I'm a product designer, I would like to work with you. You could just start by saying, oh, I really appreciate the work you've been doing with your organization so far, and I'm looking forward to connecting with you more on this piece. And that's all. That first message doesn't have to be you pitching yourself. You've basically introduced yourself. You can spend the next few weeks commenting on their posts. If they organize a class, you sign up. Or if they are doing an event or anything, just be a part of it. Then start building relationship. And then while you are doing that on your own page, you are talking about you are talking about your portfolio. You are developing your products. You can't tell me that you are a web designer and there's nothing on your profile showing the web projects you've done. You can't tell me that you are a data analyst. Your content should show. It should show. There's something called KLT. Know, like, trust. People need to know you. They need to like you and they need to trust you. And for that to happen, the information you share and how you position yourself is very, very important. Now, this is for social media. Why I emphasize on this because it's the best way to build social capital and also the best way to connect with people. Then for freelancing platforms, there are a lot of freelancing platforms right now, although the most popular we know is Upwork and Fiverr. My advice to you would be look for someone that is very, very good in Upwork, pay them and let them teach you how to position yourself properly on Upwork or on Fiverr. There is another platform I discovered recently called Twine. There are lots of them. Learn how to position yourself. Be ready to invest money. Learn, position yourself. And final thing I want to say on that is patience is very, very important. When it comes to working remotely, getting access to international opportunities, you have to be patient, right? It doesn't just come immediately. You have to patiently build your brand, put yourself out there, network, also volunteer to help people out. You see someone from the US that is organizing an event or something, all right? Or let's say DEXA, for example, is doing something like this, and you're a graphics designer, you're a product designer, you're a web designer. You could reach out to Mr. Kingsley and say, "Oh, I love what you're doing. I really want to be a part of this. Do you need help? Can I help you with designs and everything?" Identify the gaps he needs, and by the time you've done that first time, second time, as a reasonable person, he will want to engage you. Even if he doesn't engage you immediately, he will refer you because he has seen the quality of work that you've done, right? Which leads me to the final thing I want to say. Please and please, as you're positioning yourself, building your personal brand and pitching and everything, please ensure that you do good work. Please and please. So that when you're knocking on doors, but when the doors finally open, don't mess it up. Don't get an open door and end up closing it because of incompetence or lack of excellence, right? So as you're putting yourself out there, you are confident and everything, ensure that you are excellent in your delivery. And I hope that you get what you are looking for. So this is what little I can share. Thank you. Oh, can you guys hear me? I'm done. I'm done.
Okay. All right. All right. So thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Jerry, for that explosive response to that question. I think it's something that addresses any issues anybody could be having with regards that. So the next question is going to be to Mr. Victor, the CEO of. Oh, I'm the question. Oh my God. All right. So I'm taking the next question. Next question is Victor, from your experience training thousands, what is the simplest roadmap for a beginner that a beginner can follow in the first 6 to 12 months? Okay, so I'm going to be really straight about this. For someone who is just starting out, in the tech space, the simplest roadmap a beginner can follow in the first 6 to 12 months. So I'm going to really align this with regards finding a job in the tech role you would want to go through, right? So let's not, talk about random stuff. So let me focus it on, let's say you're a beginner, right? I'm going to assume you've already acquired a skill. This is going to be an assumption. This is just for us to have a focus point on this conversation. I'm going to assume you've already gotten a skill, and then you're looking to, land yourself a role within the next 6 to 12 months. So the first thing I'd be doing, if I were you, is to first treat myself as a startup. Yes, you need to treat yourself as a startup. You need to put yourself out there in a way that it is obvious that you're there to solve a problem. So first of all, start making market research. That's what startups do. People don't just build apps. People don't just come out and start doing stuff. People, they make market research. They understand what the problem that exists is. So if you've learned a skill, understand the problems, make research, find out the problems that exist that your skill can solve. There is a problem your skill is meant to address. So in the first 4 months, dive heavily into research. Update your LinkedIn profile while you're doing that, and just put in the right words that needs to be on your LinkedIn, sharpen your positioning, and then study global job boards to see what people are hiring for. So if you're on platforms like Upwork, LinkedIn, Fiverr, go look at what they are hiring for. When you go to those platforms, you most likely see the jobs that has the most hires. And those jobs are things, just shows you things that are in demand. At some point, web developers were so much in demand, and they are still in demand now, but there's a point that when you go to Fiverr, you'd most likely see jobs hiring web developers. Then there was a time sales and marketing became a problem for a lot of businesses. You would go on those platforms, you see people hiring for copywriters, for people who are good with Facebook ads and all of that. So whichever industry you're in, look for problems there, do market research, and then after you've done market research, you edit your profiles to look like the problem you want to solve. You don't go on LinkedIn and answer to different things. Like people who are prompt vendors, you think you're a prompt engineer, I don't know if you watched Avatar. There are people, on Avatar you have firebenders. There are people that call themselves prompt benders. So they're not prompting. So some of these ambiguous terms wouldn't get you anywhere, right? You just finished learning a skill. You've not even gotten your first job. You're already putting names, adding stuff to your shoulder. Well, calm down. There'll be time for that. But the first thing you should have to focus on is to be able to factor put your LinkedIn in a way that it sells exactly that thing you do as simply as you can. So the next thing you should do for the next 4 months, after the first 4 months, the following 4 months, go into building your portfolio, work on case studies, get your hands on projects. You need proof of work. People need to see what you're doing. People need to understand that you're actually working on something. So start working on more projects. And that was something I always advise people to do, right? If you're just starting out and you don't really have a lot of experiences to yourself, go on ChatGPT. Ask ChatGPT to give you a task as an employer with regards to the skill that you have, right? It's going to give you more projects and work on those projects as if you are working on a real project. When you're able to achieve that, you can add the results you've gotten from that thing to your portfolio. So when people go through your portfolio, it doesn't look like you're a total beginner. They get to understand that you've done something, not just that you've done something, you have results to show for it. So proof of work should take the remaining 4 months from you. That's the second 4 months. Start looking for proof of work. Even offer your services for free. There are people who will be willing to hire you, but they might not be able to pay at the moment. Offer those services for free. Who you're getting is experience. Mr. Jerry pointed out something similar. He said, for example, as you're launching Techvival, I think you have a skill that you would have used to, bring value to us. You could reach out, right? We are benevolent enough to write you a very explosive recommendation after all of your services. So there are businesses that would need you to do similar things for them. And if you're waiting for them for when they would hire you, they might not do that at any closest time you're planning to. So do work on that. So the last 4 months will be on execution, personalized outreach, referrals from past connections, and direct applications. So you need to start reaching out. Go on LinkedIn. Jerry told you something now, how he was able to speak with the top central bank executive. So these are things you might not even have access to unless you ask for it. You ask for access. Okay, so someone like the Mocha CEO who has invested, committed $5,000 in investment for the conference. I wouldn't have been able to reach that guy if I didn't ask. I had to email him over and over and over again. The emails went unread, some were read and not responded, but I didn't give up. I kept asking for it. I kept reaching out. I kept asking for meetings until he agreed for the first 20 minutes meeting. We had that meeting, right? Subsequent talks and conversations led us to where we are with them at the moment. So you need to really ask, message people, be bold. This is not you meeting face to face. Write cold emails. Go look for, go on their platforms, scrape for their emails, look for people who work in the organization, speak to them, tell them you want to speak to this. Even at some point, when the Mocha CEO wasn't giving me attention, I looked for their head of sales, or head of marketing, something similar. I started speaking with her, a Chinese lady. I gave her so much value, and then you started asking for a chance with the CEO. So you need to be bold enough to ask for these things. If you don't ask, you won't get. That's just the truth. So you do have to put yourself out there. So that is the work plan I would work with if I am to do something similar in 1 year. So I hope you got value with that. So because of our time, we'll just take one more. Initially, we're supposed to have two. Okay, let's run along anyway. The second question for Mr. David is this: David, if someone has zero background in tech, how should they go about identifying the right starting point for their journey? If someone has zero background in tech, how should they go? Okay, I'm going to display a question on the screen so you can follow up as I read. David, if someone has zero background in tech, how should they go about identifying the right starting point for their journey? So you have 2 minutes because of our time. Just in 2 minutes, tell us what your response to this would be.
Okay, so I'm trying to. I think I'll try to just be direct. So the thing is, I wouldn't I wouldn't say I don't think there's like a very direct answer to this, and the reason for that is because a lot of people might start telling you, "Oh, what do you have, like what passion and all of that," but sometimes it's also possible that you pick a career line based off of how you were trained or where you or the very first role you ever landed in, let's say tech, or maybe in life generally, right? I always like to give examples, and the reason for examples is so that it guides kind of it guides your thought process, right? So first of all, I didn't just pick being an ops person. I just realized over time that I was a generalist. What that means is, I think I saw someone drop in the chat where he said, you need to know little about everything and know everything about one thing, right? Which makes a lot of sense, right? I just realized I was a generalist. I easily pick interest in a lot of things. Like so, I can be speaking with Mr. Victor now, and then he says, "Oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing X, Y, Z," and then it just catches my attention. Somehow, I just love what he's doing, and then I want to learn about it. I'm learning about it not because I just want to go and start doing exactly the same thing, but because it's like kind of, is a very like exciting thing for me. So what I'm just saying is I think for your own journey, I think you should just look at where you are now and what you can do. Another example is I started UI design. I don't know why. I just okay, UI UX has been sounding everywhere. Let me just look at what it is. Like, and then I started doing that, right? I've also tried to see how I can start coding because as a person, I shall know I'm very spontaneous with ideas. So at some point I can just something comes up. So I want to be the one to code the platform by myself. But somehow over time I just realized that my own schedule, I don't have time for coding. So I just leave coding for people who get them. Let me be very raw, right? So but what I'm just saying in essence is I think bottom line is look at where you are now, look at what you think you do or what you can do, and then I think you pick it up from there. So most people most times don't necessarily have to like define, just try a lot of things out, right? Try a lot of things out. Sometimes it could be maybe you land your first role in maybe you are someone's EA. From being an EA, you move on to maybe the person gives you other tasks to perform, and then somehow you find something else interesting, and then you see that you do very well with this, and then you want to move to this space and all of that. I think that's how you kind of like find a starting point, right? So for me, the cheat is try a lot of things out, right? Try things out. I don't mean go learning everything in the world, right? Try one, two, three things you kind of um before you kind of like pick a point where you say, okay, this is the core of what I want to do, and then you stick with it and build with it. Mr. Victor, sorry, I'm taking a lot of time, but just 30 more seconds. So Mr. Victor can actually relate to this. He started a boring business when we came out of TEF. He was a fashion guy, doing a lot of other things, and from there, I mean, that one thing he tried that thing. At least he has gotten lessons from there. He has learned a lot of things from there. I'm sure he has tried a lot of other things out. I'm sure he also was at the time a blogger, right? If I'm not wrong, Mr. Victor. And then before he now finally found where this point now where he is, which is DEXA. And then you see he has been on it for like 2 years, and definitely you see that, or 3 years or more, and then you see that it's over these years that actually paid off. So I think just try a lot of things out. Try one, two, three, four things, whichever one sticks, you stick with it. So I think that's just my practical, solution, yeah, to finding a starting point, basically.
Okay, David. Thank you so much for that response. I believe anyone who has zero background in tech, having listened to what you've said, would easily find their path following the directions you've made. And it's always good to connect all of these things to practical things people can go through. Always good to connect them with stories that affect you as a person, your experience, how you've been able to do it, and how you've also scaled out. And of course, what you said about me is true. I did try a whole lot of things before I was able to, find where the right path is for me. So imagine I had clarity from the onset. I would have just, poured all of that energy into this and do it for long, right? But still, it's a safe zone to play in. You have to try a whole lot of things to really know um, what it is going to be for you. So the last question for this panel is going to go to Mr. Jerry. So Mr. Jerry, I would need you to, just in just 2 minutes, please. Would love that so that we can, quickly go on to the next thing. So Mr. Jerry, what are the biggest differences between Africans who just have skills and those who actually grow into global tech professionals, right? So I'm going to have, okay, let's give you 2 minutes, 30 seconds for that. What are the biggest difference between Africans who just have skills and those who actually grow into global tech professionals? Over to you, Mr. Jerry.
So people who just have skills. The difference is that first of all, those ones they have built this skill, but they are just sitting down and waiting for doors to open to them. Those who grow to become global tech professionals are those who decide to use the skills that they have learned to solve global problems. Right? When I was teaching my session, I said, identify a problem, identify a cause. By that I mean see it a course. And that course in two ways: CAUSE and COURSE. Identify a course and pursue it using the skills that you have gathered. That's what differentiates them. Africans who just are they are just there. They will tell you, "Oh, have skills in this. I've not been able to get opportunities and all that." But those who become global tech professionals, they join the global conversations on the global level. That field, that industry that you are in, what are the challenges? What are the new trends that are coming up now? Right? You learned website design and coding last year, good, but there are new programming languages that have come out now. AI has come up now. Are you up to date? So persons who eventually grow to become global tech professionals are those who align themselves with the trends and don't just allow the trends control them. Rather, they lead the trend. They lead the trend. They lead conversations. They identify problems in the continent and provide solution to it. And they don't just provide solution to it and keep quiet. They are very vocal about their message. Have a message. Have a calling. Have a message. Have the people you're targeting, and just put yourself out there, like I always say. So that's what I basically have to say on that. So don't just have skills, right? The global village in the global scene in Africa right now, there are conversations happening. How can your skill align with it? Right? Identify a course and follow it. Identify the trends right now in your field and don't just allow control the trend, lead the trend. Get soak yourself in it, join conversations and just be in the global scene so that when you have or when opportunities come and they present someone that just has skills and they present you, when people listen to you, they will know that okay, this guy knows what he's saying. And finally, just be all about impact, whatever you are doing. Don't just be driven by money. Those who have only skills, they just want money. But money isn't everything. Money isn't all that you should focus on. Focus on impact. Focus on making a difference. For example, I'm an instructional designer. I develop courses, trainings, and learning programs. I develop LMS, learning infrastructure, and everything. But I'm here talking to you now. I'm adding value to you. Why? Because aside from making money, it's my desire to add value to life through what I do and through the experiences I've gathered in my journey. So I hope that makes a lot of sense.
Yes, that makes so much sense. Thank you so much, Mr. Jerry, for that amazing section. So thank you guys, Mr. Jerry and Mr. David. It's been an amazing time with you. Having to listen to your perspective about all of these topics, it is really amazing. It was an honor, hosting you for this section. So thank you so much. So up next, we're going to be having the amazing Erin Booth. A lot of us have waited for this section and Erin Booth is coming up now. So, Mr. David and Mr. Jerry, thank you so much. I'll be letting you off the screen now so we can have Erin Booth's section. So, let me make a quick intro for Erin. Not a lot of people know. Not a lot of people know Erin Booth, and so Erin Booth is one of the biggest Erin Booth is one of the biggest virtual assistant trainers globally. Erin Booth has worked with businesses, have worked with corporations to train a lot of VAs. Erin Booth has been, in her portfolio, um, training experiences that include at least 60,000 VAs globally. So if you've ever been in the virtual assistant space, and Erin Booth is someone I believe you must have heard about, you must have listened to, you must have learned something from. So we are going to be having this beautiful section where Erin Booth is going to teach you how to stay relevant as a virtual assistant despite the presence of AI. So please do hang in there as we bring.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to DEXA's Techvival 2025. I am Erin, and I am so excited to be presenting to you guys today. I love to talk about digital technology and the changes that are undergoing our virtual assistant industry, which is why we are going to deep dive into today into how to thrive as a virtual assistant in the age of AI. In today's session, we're going to cover 5 major aspects of working in and with AI. First, we're going to demystify it a little bit and speak about what AI really is and also what it isn't. Next, we'll address some common fears and have an honest discussion about job security in the age of AI. And immediately after, we're going to flip the script. Instead of looking at AI as our competitor, we're going to look at it as our own personal assistants. As the saying goes, AI might not replace you, but another assistant using AI probably will. No presentation would be complete if we didn't talk about building essential skills to make you a better, more efficient person using AI, but also how to build up your human skills that AI can never replicate. And finally, we're going to talk about how you can package AI services as part of your virtual assistant business to make you more competitive. Let's start by talking about what AI is and what it's not. I still speak to people who think that AI is a living, breathing, thinking entity. So I want to start by dispelling some myths. Even though AI might seem alive, it's just math. The internet is built on a systems of ones and zeros, which stands for yes and no. AI is no different. In fact, they are just probability machines. They create sentences that resemble human language, and it's all based on math and the text that it is trained from. And the reason that we want to talk about this is because since AI is built on data, patterns, and math, it lacks things that you and I have, like common sense, emotions, and even cultural understandings. These are our advantages and things that AI can never truly understand. Most importantly, I want to remind everybody that AI can also be wrong. Let's take a very simple example. Since AI learns from the mountain of text that it reads, it can read misinformation and take that as fact. If a system reads 1,000 different articles that state the capital of Australia is Sydney, it has no idea that the capital is actually Canberra because it cannot think. It doesn't actually know what the capital is. It is guessing its next most plausible word based on its training data. We'll talk a little more later about why it's so important and how we can use its errors to work to your advantage. Before we move on, let's address some major fears. In the past few months, there have been numerous articles in the news and announcements from big tech CEOs that they believe AI will replace a large portion of the population. That scared everybody, including myself, until there have been 2 recent examples where big companies laid off people, tried to replace them with AI, and then ended up hiring all those people back. The first is Klarna. It's a Swedish buy now, pay later company. They laid off 700 people, expecting to replace them with AI, only to find out that the AI wasn't working properly. And all of those people were hired back. That's why I highlighted this article, which was recently published earlier this month from CNET, or Computer Network. The article goes on to talk about translation services, something that seems like an easy target for AI. However, they found that certain types of translators, like medical, for example, need to understand actual cultural nuances. They need to know medical terminology, and they need to know slang to communicate properly to patients. Plus, language is dynamic. It is always changing. And if AI isn't trained on those updates, it's not going to know what the latest changes are. But a good translator who's up on language trends hopefully will. So I want to shift our perspective from fear to opportunity. Think of AI like your junior assistant. Congratulations, everyone. You've just hired your first assistant to work for you and with you. Now, the best thing about AI, for sure, is that it works 24/7. Unlike a human, it does not get tired, it does not get sick, it does not need vacation days. It also really excels at boring tasks that you hate to do. Considering that AI is going to be your new junior assistant, that means you are the manager. You get to assign tasks, you get to check its work, you get to make it better by adding your own human expertise, and you get to make strategic decisions. Here's another example. I've recently started using AI to search for flights for my clients who do a lot of business travel. I can work on other tasks while the AI is working in the background on finding those specific flights. Then when I get the results, I get to use my best strategic thinking, pick the flights that fit my client's schedule the best, and present them with the options. And the best part is that, again, they don't know how you found these flights. It could be manually, it could be with AI. As long as these flights exist, which I highly recommend you do a quick search to make sure that these are, in fact, real routes, you get to make the final decisions, and they are happy with the completed task. So speaking of junior assistants, so far we've talked about AI like it's just one singular thing. But actually, there are thousands of AI tools that all serve different purposes. And I think the hardest thing about AI right now is that it is a rapidly changing space. In fact, as I started to make this presentation, certain tools like Nano Banana, which is a graphics tool made by Google, hadn't even been released yet. And we're talking days. So the best thing that you can do in order to be a great VA who really understands AI systems is to remain curious and keep on top of trends. See what new tools are being introduced and don't just read about them, go try them. But I don't just want to tell you to try things. I'm going to give you a few examples of some great tools that I think should be on everybody's toolkit. And the first trend that is really taking off right now are super agents. And these are so much more than just LLMs like Gemini and ChatGPT that we've been used to. Think of super agents like an AI robot that hires other AI robots to get your tasks done. It is autonomous, which is a huge leap forward from things like ChatGPT because it can make decisions on its own about how best to answer a prompt. Now that is pretty crazy. I feel like we've taken a massive leap in the timeline of AI because we have been using LLMs, which traditionally are prompt generators. They give you the next most plausible word. And we've leapt practically to the moon where we now have super agents. For example, ChatGPT has their own agent. And when using agent mode, you can connect ChatGPT to things like your email inbox, your calendar, Canva for graphics, Slack for notifications, even your Google Drive and all of your files. But not all super agents are designed to do the same thing. There's a great super agent called GenSpark, which is meant to help you learn things quickly. Here's how it works. You ask GenSpark a question, and instead of just giving you a paragraph of text like traditional LLMs, it creates a custom-made Spark page. This is a structured document with summaries, headings, bullet points, and even in some cases, videos to help explain a topic. It is essentially designed to help you learn something new very, very quickly. So GenSpark might be a good option for you if you're trying to learn a new skill, or if a client has given you a task that you have zero clue how to do. Similarly, we have Skywork. This is a brand new super agent that's been designed specifically for business. So imagine an AI that can read through all of your clients' documents, emails, data, numbers, and then can actually do things with that data. For example, let's say your client owns a product business where they sell products directly to consumers. You could ask Skywork to find the 5 most urgent customer complaints from last week and draft replies, and it would do it in seconds. And then, of course, there's ChatGPT Agent, which essentially lets you build your own mini AI for whatever purpose. You could literally build one agent that's dedicated to travel tasks for your client, and you could build a separate agent to help you debug code if you are working on a client's website. Super agents are super cool. And since they're so new, keep your eye on that space because I guarantee they're going to get better and better and smarter and faster as time goes on. But we would be remiss if we didn't talk about LLMs because I think traditional LLMs still have their place in our business. So just a reminder, LLMs are different than agents because agents are autonomous. They can make their own decisions on how to best produce a task, whereas LLMs will give you language outputs based on statistically what sounds the best. Now, ChatGPT, I now consider the jack of all trades. This means it is a very well-rounded, knowledgeable, enthusiastic, and pretty creative language model. It's particularly great for generating ideas, for brainstorming, and it usually has a friendly and engaging tone. Gemini is another great service to check out. And Gemini is owned by Google, which I think makes it a great researcher because it has ties to Google's vast resources online. It's very practical. It's great at finding and breaking down information for you. And then comes Claude. In my mind, Claude is a Frenchman wearing his beret and typing on a typewriter. That's the silliest way to personify AI, but Claude is a great writer. Now, unlike Gemini and ChatGPT, it is less conversational and it is way more focused on producing high-quality writing. In fact, it is excellent at understanding human nuances, and it's really good at avoiding harmful or biased outputs. Let's move on to the research toolkit, because research is one of those things that clients love to delegate. My 3 favorite research-specific tools on the market right now are NotebookLM, which is also owned by Google. But this AI is designed specifically to work with documents that you give to it. Now, this is a huge difference because instead of searching random URLs, it's best suited if you upload things like your own notes, articles, research papers, and then that notebook becomes an expert on the data that you're feeding it. The coolest thing about this is that you can actually interact with your own data. You can ask questions of it. You can chat with it. You can have it generate new ideas and brainstorms based only on the resources that you're giving it. Now, if you find that you are in fact in need of getting online for some research, Perplexity is an excellent option. This is an amazing researcher because it goes online, consults the web, and then delivers an incredibly well-sourced summary with direct links of where it found the information. Not to mention, I think it has one of the lowest percentages of hallucinations because it's pulling actual details with actual cited sources. And last but not least, we have kind of an interesting newbie to the market, and this is NoteGPT, which I like to think of this as your study buddy. So this tool basically has one job. You give it a link to either a video or an online course, a webinar, an article. You could even upload this video to NoteGPT and it will summarize key points for you. It can also generate notes, transcripts, even flashcards, which saves you a lot of time because you don't have to rewatch a video or reread everything to refresh your memory. And finally, let's move on to 3 design tools that I think are really helpful. The first is the newest one, Nano Banana, and I swear this thing just broke the internet. You don't need any editing skills at all to use Nano Banana. So the model is so different from other graphic services right now, and that's because it understands natural human language. No matter how complicated or simple or lengthy or short your prompt is to Nano Banana, it will perform an incredibly fast, real-time edit, and you will get results almost instantly. The results also don't require any Adobe Photoshop or Lightroom or even any additional tools to make edits and changes. Whether you're creating social media graphics for your own business or you're creating social media graphics for a client, this is a really great tool to create fast, ultra realistic looking photos that don't require you to be a super duper prompt engineer. And similarly, VO3 is another fairly new system that came out. VO3 was created by Google, and where Nano Banana creates images, VO3 creates stunning videos. You could describe virtually any scene you want, like a drone shot of a knight riding a horse on Mars, and it will create a video based exactly on that description. And last but not least, we have Canva's Magic Design. So in Magic Design, you either provide it with an image that already exists, or you can enter a text prompt. It could be as silly as create a birthday party invitation for my dog, and it will automatically generate a professionally designed template for you, after which then you can continue to customize it. I think there's real opportunity for us to become better, faster, more efficient, more creative assistants thanks to these AI tools. I like to think of AI like a paintbrush. A paintbrush in and of itself is not a creative tool. It is just a handle and some bristles. It is actually the painter who uses the tool and creates something beautiful. And it is the same with AI. AI is a tool, and we are the artist, where we pick and choose which tools work best for our desired outcomes. Now, beyond the specific tools that I think are really helpful for our industry, you might now be asking yourself, how the heck do I get better at using these tools? And that's a super valid question. And the first thing you'll want to do is practice, because like any skill, practice makes perfect. One of the best things you can practice is determining which AI tool is appropriate for the task. As we've just seen on the previous slide, not every AI tool is meant to do the same thing or serve the same purpose. And speaking of critical thinking, this is probably the most important part of this slide. Screenshot it, copy it down on a note, whatever you have to do. These 4 questions are going to help you become one of the best virtual assistants using AI. The first question you always want to ask yourself when you're trying to determine which tool to use is, what are you even trying to achieve? Because if you're trying to get a realistic video, you're not going to get that by entering a prompt into Perplexity. If you're trying to learn something quickly on a custom Spark page, you're not going to get that from Claude, who's a more conversational writer. A similar question you can ask yourself is, what is the best way to do this task? Now, the last 2 questions, I don't necessarily have answers for you, but they are equally as important, and your answers are going to be determined by your thinking, your client's needs, your own needs. But one of the best questions I think we need to be asking ourselves is, how do you determine which AI responses are good or good enough or just plain trash? Again, not all answers that you get from AI agents or LLMs are going to be great. They might be wrong. So how are you going to determine if those things are good enough to send to your client? How do you decide when to stop? How do you decide when to keep asking questions before you get your desired outcome? Last but not least, how do you determine what a successful prompt is? And this question is a little abstract, but it's one of my most favorite. And I think it's a question that everybody needs to be asking themselves. For me personally, one of my favorite frameworks to determine if my prompt was good or not is, did I get the results that I actually wanted? AKA, did the AI give me something that I can actually use? Did my prompt have enough specificity and context? Because including details and prompts often lead to way more personalized and useful outputs. Now, the third best thing that you can do to make sure you are upskilling with AI is to apply your own expertise, because any of the AI tools we've talked about are general. The outputs are only as valuable as the context that you provide it with. So if you are an expert at a particular niche, if you're an expert at web design, if you're an expert at social media, if you're an expert at, it could be even as specific as thumbnail designs for YouTube, you can provide additional context to the AI tools to make your outputs that much more powerful. And it can't do that unless you are using your own expertise and creativity to get the better answers. And last but not least, improving your prompts. This kind of goes hand in hand with practice. So keeping notes of things that you find that work really well can be really helpful. And eventually you will have your very own custom-made prompt library. You can also use follow-up prompts. Before copying and pasting it or presenting it to a client, you could ask questions like, does this make sense? How does this make sense? Explain it to me from a different point of view. Explain it to me like I am skeptical of this output. You can continually refine the outputs just based on you having a conversation with the AI itself. Now, having said all that about how to achieve great outputs and what tools to use, there are always inevitably going to be things that AI just cannot do. It cannot replace our superpowers, most importantly, critical thinking and strategy. I'll give you an example. Let's say you're a social media manager and a client asks you to grow their TikTok page. Yes, you could go directly to one of the AI tools we've discussed today and brainstorm ideas. But what it can't do is really come up with a strategy that fits your client's business best. And that's where you come in, because you can critically think through what makes a good TikTok page. What is your client trying to achieve? Are they trying to grow by numbers? Are they trying to grow revenue? And then second to that is emotional intelligence. I always say that clients hire people that they like, not just skills. And so it's really up to you to build trust with your client. That is through having face-to-face conversations, even if that's by video chat. That is through navigating conversations with empathy, where you make your client feel like they are really heard and understood. These are the things that AI cannot replicate. AI will also never be able to replicate cultural understandings. It doesn't understand slang. It doesn't understand cultural sensitivities. You create the truly original thought, and you wield the tool to help you create it. AI genuinely cannot come up with new ideas because it's only been trained on pre-written data. So you get to approach your clients and your work with your own creativity. You get to determine how to best get a task done. You get to determine what makes a great output, and you get to determine when the goal has been met. So how can you take these AI tools and integrate them with your VA services to become a better VA? These are just 3 ideas that I've come up with. 1, you can be the AI integration manager. This is where you find the best tools for your clients, you manage them, you oversee the outputs on their behalf so that they get the maximum value, efficiency, and technology that's on the market these days. And if you're thinking that no one would ever hire a VA to be their AI manager, I want to let you know that I recently pitched 3 clients for me to be their AI manager. And I said, I will help you get your files in order, go through your emails, connect your personal inboxes to your calendars. I'll oversee everything. And all 3 of them jumped at the opportunity. And of course, I did that at an upcharge. You could also pitch yourself as a content strategist. AI can do things like write social media posts for you or blog posts, but you get to develop the content strategies behind the posts. You get to determine which posts drive profit and people to your business or your client's business. At the end of the day, no matter what extent you want to integrate these systems, you need to be focusing on nurturing your human relationships with your clients. People hire people that they like. They don't just hire machines. So it's really important that you invest in things like small talk, communication. Ask your client about their kids, their families, their vacations. Share things about your life, your family. These are the things that creates bonds between humans. Another thing that AI cannot replicate, but something that will build a lasting partnership between you and your clients. So your action plan before the session ends is to explore. Pick at least one AI tool that was mentioned in this presentation and spend some time exploring it. Have fun with it, enter prompts, ask it questions, experiment, discover what it can and cannot do. And then I want you to practice with it. Use it for a real task. It could either be things like drafting an email or summarizing an article or creating social media content, because the best way to learn AI is to learn by doing and practice. To learn by doing and practicing. And then finally, as I mentioned, one of the best things you can do is add your expertise to make your prompts even more powerful. I want you to really hone in and think about, what is your special sauce as an assistant? What do you love to do most? Is it social media? Is it planning out podcasts? Is it email marketing? If you have a niche that you're leaning towards, or if you have a particular skill that you're really good at, figure out ways that you can use AI to make that niche even more supercharged. And I want to end with this great quote. The age of AI is not the end of a virtual assistant. It is the beginning of the smart virtual assistant. I firmly believe that AI is not going to eradicate our jobs. It's going to create different job opportunities. And some people, if they are not constantly exploring or looking for new ways to integrate AI, will get left behind. And others, like you and me, will hopefully lead AI and be able to integrate it into our business successfully and continue to work well with our clients. I want to thank you guys so much for sticking with me. This was a jam-packed presentation. I am an AI enthusiast and also a virtual assistant who's been doing this since 2012. You can find out more about me or my programs at erinbooth.com. And again, I really appreciate DEXA and the founder, Victor, for inviting me to this amazing virtual event.
Okay, thank you so much to Erin. Erin has just, brought in so much fire. I told you guys earlier that this section is going to be one that, we have literally looked forward to for a long time. And it's beautiful having Erin take that, amazing presentation. So there is no how you would say you didn't get way more value than you've planned for from that section. So just like we promised, we'll be planning on something really beautiful with Erin. After now, we'll be planning to bring her in for more conversations with our DEXA trained virtual assistant. So we'll be hoping that we get the time to plan that all out and have it in check. So right about now, so we don't have to wait so much time, we're going to be having the vibe coding section. So I also want to believe lots and lots of people are already looking forward to this section. So this is a section where you learn how to build an app using AI. So I'm going to give you 2 minutes to get yourselves ready. We're going to have the Mocha CEO come up to tell you about vibe coding and teach you practically how to build an app with the use of AI. Years ago, this thing would have cost you tens and thousands of dollars, but you're going to get this for free, and you're going to learn exactly how to develop your own AI app, launch it, and make a ton of money from it, right? So in 2 minutes, we're going to go on a music break, and in the next 2 minutes, you're going to be hearing the voice of the Mocha CEO and be able to learn how to build and launch a full stack app just using AI. And you don't have to be a developer to do this. And also, to end this section as well, we're going to also be giving out, we're going to be announcing the winners for our referral challenge. I know a lot of people have engaged in that, so you're going to be finding out who the winners are, and then the gifts will be given to them. So please do hang in there as we go on a brief, boring music break as usual. So do hang in.
Hello DEXA, hello Techvival Africa Conference. My name is Nicholas Sharia. I'm the CEO of Mocha. Mocha is a vibe coding tool, an app builder, and it's designed to be an app builder for people that have no technical knowledge. We want to make it possible for anybody that has an idea but no technical expertise to build things and ship them in the world. We think that AI has unlocked this new era of productivity and entrepreneurship and empowerment. And previously, building things was gatekept, and you had to be a developer or you had to pay a developer, which is a very expensive skill, to build things. But now, with the power of AI, we can build apps like Mocha, which allow people to build and operate businesses online without having need for any kind of technical expertise or even have a developer on the team. Mocha is different than some of the other app builders. We really expect you to know nothing about databases, authentication. These might be words you don't even know, and that's fine. Our goal at Mocha is to make it so that you have an idea and you could build it and you could deploy it and it just works. And so today I'm going to do a session with you, which is a vibe coding exploration. We're going to walk through building and deploying apps on Mocha. I'm going to do it through an example to make everybody comfortable. All right, let's dive in. Cool. So this that I'm showing you right now is Mocha's homepage where you're all signed out. You can explore it. There's a bunch of example apps. I'll let you explore this on your own time. There are some wonderful testimonials. People like Mocha. And so if you try it and you like it, you could send me a testimonial. It might go on our website. But let's start by signing in. So it's free to make an account. You can get started for free. I'm going to log in with Google. You could log in with Google, or you could just make a new account. So I have a bunch of apps. This would be empty for you. These are my apps, but we're going to ignore these for a second, and we're going to just create a new application. So the app we're going to build today is a pretty straightforward idea, which is a recipe sharing site. So I'm going to show you, we're going to build a very basic version, and then we're going to slowly add some features. I'm going to show you how to troubleshoot when things go wrong. And we're also going to add some of our custom assets, use AI to generate images. Then we'll add authentication. It's going to be very fun. It's going to be very easy. And you could follow along and do this yourself. So I'm going to start by, we're starting our app and building it from scratch. What should we be thinking here? So generally, by the way, when you're building a product, you should spend time thinking about what the product is, what it should do, what it shouldn't do. A big mistake a lot of people make, especially first-time builders, is that they try to do too much. So when you're building a product for a specific audience and you're solving a specific problem. It should be very clear in your head what the audience is and what the problem you're solving is. Once that's clear in your head, that's very helpful. You can then minimize your product to solve only that problem and to be kind of like surgically useful. In Silicon Valley or in tech, we often call this MVP, minimum viable product. So it's like the minimum amount of features and product you need to build to actually deliver value. So to give you an example of what you shouldn't do is if you want to build a recipe site, maybe you start building subscriptions and pricing and ads and a mobile app and a web app and an Android. Like that's too much. Really what you got to do is boil it down to like, why is this useful? Who am I building for? What is the core features? And so our core features is that we want a recipe site where users can discover and share recipes. They can favorite them. And then it's like really beautiful and clean, such that if they want to look at the recipe while they're in their kitchen, it's like not full of ads and stories. And I don't know if you've used recipe sites, but they're often full of cruft that I hate. So we're gonna tell Mocha, let's build a recipe sharing site. Let's keep it simple. I like saying this so Mocha doesn't go overboard. Let's add the ability to log in, so users will have accounts. Then let's add the concept of a recipe. Users should be able to add recipes to their profile. And go. All right, Mocha's about done. It's giving me some conclusions here. So it's been a few minutes. It's been 3 minutes and 45 seconds. Mocha wrote 11 files. The database was updated. I'm going to restart it. Sometimes it crashes when it restarts. So let's see where we are. Here we go. Welcome to Flavorvault. So this is what our website looks like. So I'm going to show you, before we get into it, this is an interactive app here, by the way. But before we get into that, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the layout. So first of all, on the left is the chat panel. So notice this is what I asked Mocha. Then this is Mocha's response. It'll kind of give me information here. If we're having a conversation in discuss mode, it'll just chat with me. If I turn discuss mode off, it will make changes to the application on the right. You can add images here. We'll do this in a second. I'll show you. We can upload images, and you submit your messages by just hitting this button. You could collapse the chat panel if you wanted, and then you have your main app panel here showing you the app. So this is a preview. We call this the preview. It's running in a sandbox. It's not yet on the public internet. Only you could see it. On the preview, you could, if we had multiple pages, we don't right now, you could navigate to them. It's like a mini web browser. And then there are logs that you can get into if there are any bugs. You typically don't need to touch this unless there's an issue, and then you could kind of ask the Mocha team. The Mocha team will ask you to send them the logs. You could look at what it looks like on mobile. This is not a mobile app. This is just a mobile website. So it's what you would see if you opened Safari or Chrome on your mobile app, on your mobile device. And then you could see it full screen, which is just a way of seeing what it looks like. We're in the build tab, which is where you'll spend 90% of your time. But if you were technical, or if you're working with a technical person, there's a code tab where you can see all of the code, and you can. This is actually editable code, so you could come and modify any of this if you wanted. I recommend not touching this unless you know what you're doing. We put it here for power users. Here's the data tab, where we provide you with a database. So real useful applications have persistent data. A very basic example is if I log into this app, what's it called? Flavor Vault. If I log into Flavor Vault one day and then I come back the next week, it needs to remember me. It needs to remember Nicholas. So how does it do that? It puts my record in a database. All the recipes are going to be records in a database. And so you need a database for like 90% of the ideas that you're going to want to build. And Mocha provides one for you, it deploys it for you, it manages it for you. This is all done for you, which is a really real big strength of Mocha. And so you can see that our AI has created a table called recipes, and there's a table called users, which is when people click login, it's going to go to the users table, and it's created this recipes table. No matter what your idea is, Mocha would basically design your database to support the idea that you're working on. And then finally, there's settings where you could change the project name, description. These would influence what it looks like when you send it to your friends on WhatsApp or on Facebook. You know, it's the sharing settings. Open graph metadata is what it's called. So you could come change this if you wanted to own it yourself. You can make the project private or public based on if you're a subscriber or not. You can't make them private if you're not a subscriber. That's a subscriber perk. And you can also hide the watermark when you publish it. We'll talk about that in a second. These are the assets. I don't have any yet. We'll cover this in a second. Publishing, we just went over this. You could choose your domain. We could call it Flavor Vault. That means that when we deploy it, it'll be deployed to flavorvault.mocha.app. Let's actually do this right now. So you could deploy things in Mocha. I use this, but you could also do it from here. You could deploy things in Mocha in one click. Deploying means publishing your website to the public internet. Once it's deployed, you could share it with your friends. It's live. It's like a website like facebook.com or whatever. And we provide you with what's called a subdomain. So it's like you can pick the name .mocha.app, but if you wanted, you could also manage your own domains and add a custom domain. If you owned like, I don't know, food.com, good for you, first of all, that's a great domain. Second of all, you could link it in Mocha and you could deploy to that domain. And we make it very easy. So this is now deployed. So now if I go in another tab, so now I'm at like flavorvault.mocha.app and boom, I have my app, it's live. I can sign in with Google. We're gonna explore it in the app, but like everything's working. So notice how easy this was. Like if you've ever built a website before, there's a lot that's happening behind the scenes that you just don't have to worry about. Mocha just takes care of everything for you. Now notice this thing here. This is the watermark. Obviously, you might not want that to be live, and you could remove that if you're a paid subscriber by removing the watermark and then publishing again, which I'll do right now. And then that means we won't have the watermark. Cool. I would like to go back to building. So we have the most basic version of our site, right? I've showed you how to go from 0 to 1 with one prompt. Roughly, you've already got a good sense of how Mocha works. You speak English to it. You ask for things like features or new designs or bug fixes or whatever it is. And it is a developer and project manager that decides to do things in a certain way. It's a very opinionated way that we think is the best way, that makes things kind of like work very well. And then it will build them for you. So maybe let's use the app a little bit and see what we want to change about it. So I'm going to log in. So I'm logged in, public recipes, my recipes. I'm going to add a recipe. Let's look at what this feels like. I know, chicken tikka masala. I like chicken tikka masala. Delicious curry type dish. I'm not going to fit all this out, but actually I will. Servings 4, difficulty medium, category entree, ingredients lots of. I'm sorry, I'm not doing a very good job of improvising live. One is like prep the meal and cook the meal. This is pretty bad, but I can choose to make the recipe public. So I'm going to hit create, and then I'm going to see in my recipes I have chicken tikka masala. This is pretty cool. There's no image here. I'm wondering why there's no image. So let's say we wanted to change something about the site. Maybe we want there to be a set of default public recipes. So we could ask that. We could be like, please add a set of default public recipes that people can browse. Maybe start with 3. I'm just going to keep it simple. You could have Mocha go crazy here and do a lot, but let's start with 3. And so it's going to go and create some data. It's going to put it in the database. It's going to kind of initialize the site. And so you're getting a good idea here of like how to work with Mocha, which is just like ask for what you want on the left and then like it does it on the right. While it's working, I'm going to talk about a couple other things. Every time you ask for something, every time you make a request to Mocha, we create a new version of the app. You can go back in time and view, not while it's working, Mocha's working right now, but once it's done, you could go back in time and you could undo, you could Control Z. You could restore a previous one, you could view a previous one. And this is very handy because Mocha will make mistakes. It's just like AI is not perfect and sometimes you ask for too much. Some people ask for crazy things and so it can't do it. That's okay. You can always walk it back and say, I want to restore the previous version. This is not working. That's very important and actually a very big tip I have. Like when something's going wrong with vibe coding, when it starts bugging out and you ask it to fix it and you ask it twice to fix it and it's clearly not fixing it, like instead of digging kind of your own grave and piling on spaghetti code onto the problem, clearly if the AI knew how to fix it, it would fix it immediately. So if it can't do it after 1 or 2 tries, you can try to use discuss mode and be like, hey, ultra think really deep, think really deeply about the problem, go and try and figure out what it is. And then if it comes up with something unique, you could try build it. But really what I recommend is to restore a previous version and to attack your feature in a more atomic and like incremental way. So if you're trying to do something really big, just do like the next step and get Mocha to work step by step. Just like a human, it has to write code. If it's writing a lot of code at once that does a lot of things, that just increases the surface area, the probability that something will go wrong. If you have it do one thing and it's very well scoped, it's much more likely that the AI, just like a human, will do it correctly and quickly. And so like that should be when you're building your job as the operator of Mocha or as the vibe coder, your job is to break down a problem into incremental atomic steps that you could use an app like Mocha to build one by one. And that's like a really important tip. All right, while I was talking, it's created like a bunch of public recipes. They're not my recipes, so they're public recipes. That's great. And they're all visible here. I want to show a couple other things before we keep going. So one thing is styling. So right now, I actually kind of like the way this is styled. But let's say I didn't like it. Let's say I wanted to have a different vibe. Mocha is really good at design. So you could say, I want to update the site's design. Please make it look like, and so I don't know what we could pick. We could pick an app that's popular, like an Apple app. Apple has a cool style. You could also, I didn't do it here, but you could also upload a screenshot and say, I like this design. Please make it look like this design, and it will do a good job. I'm going to accelerate this, so bear with me. All right, Mocha is done. Let's take a look at what it did. Look at this. So it changed the whole vibe of the site, and it looks a lot like an Apple app now, they actually did a good job. This kind of does look like an Apple app. There's lots of blue and white. There's more color than Apple would do, but I'm not going to complain too much. This looks really clean. Cool. Before we move on to the next step, I want to show you a tip. So I've noticed that when I click to my recipes, you see this button? It's not the full width. That's kind of annoying me. So I'm going to take a screenshot of this, and I'm going to paste the screenshot to Mocha. So I'm hitting Command V and pasting the screenshot here. You could also attach it by just doing insert and browsing your computer for it. And I'm going to say the My Recipes button doesn't take the full width of its container and it looks weird. Please fix it. So I just uploaded a screenshot. Mocha can see things. So if you give it a screenshot, it will go and look at it. It could also take screenshots of the app itself, which is cool, but that cannot always work because depending on, like, it would need to click, and right now it can't click on things. Okay, so here it did something that I don't love, which is it stacked them horizontally, but now browse recipes looks weird. I actually like it horizontal. I like it horizontal, but I don't want the browse recipes to wrap. And I'm going to paste that image so it could see what it looks like, and it's going to go and fix that as well. Okay, and here we go. And so now I'm happy with things. See how I use screenshots to kind of teach it how to see? This is like a real strength of these kind of vibe coding apps like Mocha, is that you could really be you could do visual iteration. Now, I don't want to spend too much time on the visuals. You could build your app to make it look as cool, as unique as you want. Before I move to anything else, I'm going to show you about toggle direct edit mode. So I could come and modify this. I could say, maybe I could say bienvenue. I'm French, so maybe I like the word bienvenue. So you notice how I just changed the text. There's a direct edit mode, which allows you to just edit text really, really quickly and really easily. It will soon be also a way that you can change like anything, images. But right now it only allows you to modify text. Still, it's a powerful trick that you should know how to use. The next thing I want to show you is custom knowledge. So in settings, you can go to knowledge and you can say here, like, I'm building Flavor Vault. It's a recipe sharing site. The audience is for food aficionados. I don't know how to write that actually. It should feel homey and professional both at the same time. So I like to use custom knowledge, which is going to be sent, like I'm going to save this. Every time you make a change in Mocha, we're going to send custom knowledge. So it's a really good place to explain what the core of your idea is, who your main audience is, if there's a design vibe that you like. There might be some acronyms or some domain knowledge that's specific to you. You might be using an API that's like kind of obscure, and you might want to add some data there as well. So that's all possible, and yeah, I recommend using custom knowledge for this. We just talked about adding features. By the way, I want to just show that like there's data in the database now. So there's my user and there are the recipes. Here we go. These are all the recipes that are currently in the database. Okay, I'm going to show you a couple other things that are cool. You can generate images on Mocha. So let's say we want to generate a logo for this app. I could say like generate a logo for this app and add it to the home page. Use image generation. And so this under the hood, Mocha knows how to generate images. It's going to create, it knows a lot about the app Flavor Vault. And so it's going to create an image and then show it. See, I'm going to generate a professional logo for Flavor Vault. Captures the essence of the recipe sharing platform, combining culinary elements with a modern, trustworthy design that feels both homey and professional. Remember that? That's from the custom knowledge. So because we put that data in there, it's like smart about this now and it knows how to use it. So it's created a little logo. I can barely see it, but it's up there. Flavor Vault, recipe sharing horror. I don't think that's the best logo ever, but it's a logo and we'll keep it. I shown you how to add authentication. I mean, it just built authentication, but at any point you could ask Mocha like, please add users and profiles, and it will just build like a login with Gmail. Right now, we only support login with Google. We think this is a great way to get users to sign in because it's very good at anti-spam. Google basically protects you from spam and fake accounts. You could also ask Mocha to add email password and it knows how to do it, but it doesn't use our authentication SDK. It's more of it's a bit of a hack. Like basically the AI is so clever that it knows how to use a database to create email password. But we'll be adding more login methods soon. So I've given a high level overview of Mocha. Mocha is a place you can come. You could build your ideas. You can iterate on your ideas. You can edit them. You could publish them to the web in one click. And you could go live and go from zero to traction. I want to encourage everybody to kind of try this out. We've given a code for the DEXA conference. You should try this out. Nearly everyone has ideas that they could build. Nearly everyone has ideas in their heads. It could be as simple as a private social media app for me and my family, or it could be your basketball team has a league and you want to make a site that allows everybody to upload pictures and get a schedule. Or maybe you have a business and you want to build a website that allows people to add a loyalty program and send them emails. Maybe you want to be a web entrepreneur and build a SaaS, software as a service. Like, I don't know, maybe you want to generate LinkedIn or Twitter posts with AI and generate images, and you want, if people pay, they can generate a certain amount of posts a month or something. That's just one idea, but there's infinite ideas. The internet is the ultimate way to reach like people all over the world. Look at me talking to you right now about an app that can use the internet to build things. You don't need permission to publish a site. You just need an idea. Now you have a tool like Mocha. Nothing is stopping you. You should get at it. Get vibe coding. Start working. By the way, in this whole demo, everything worked. I guess I was lucky. I guess Mocha's pretty good, but also it's not perfect, and sometimes it'll break. When it does break, it's okay. Don't panic. This is just a process of building things with code. You need to first try to get the AI to fix it. We have a button like Fix with AI that will appear when things break. You can also use discuss mode here to explain what's breaking and try and get the AI to reason about it. And then finally, you could restore previous versions and just attack the problem from a different angle. And you need to show a little bit of resourcefulness. Building things is never going to be super straightforward. It's always going to require a little bit of resourcefulness, and that's okay. But what you don't need anymore is to know how to code, and that's very powerful. So you still need to be creative in your problem solving and good at breaking down the problem and clarifying what you want. And another tip, by the way, is you could use discuss mode or ChatGPT even to talk about your product and be like, what do you think is a good feature to build next? If you want to get inspiration, you could literally use AI to help you scope things out. It will probably make suggestions. If you like them, you could say, go build that, or you could say, no, I want it to be more this or that. But AI could be useful in your idea refining stage, in addition to just your building stage. What did it suggest? It said, view recipe for information, improve readability, clean focused layout, lay groundwork for future features, dedicated detail page. Yeah. So there's no dedicated detail page for, if I click on these, there's no dedicated page. That's a great idea. So I could be like, create a detail page for recipe. Boom. And it's going to go to work. I'm going to talk a bit about pricing for Mocha. So you subscribe to Mocha. It's a monthly basis. It's only $20 a month on our cheapest tier. The most reasonable tier, I think, is $50. If you're building something serious, you're going to want to be on the silver tier. And then if you're super serious, a lot of people kind of upgrade to gold, especially when they're in the build phase. Now, what do you get? On each tier, you get a certain amount of credits every month. It starts at 1,500, 4,500 on silver, and then 25,000 on gold. You also get the ability to connect a certain number of domains, like up to 5 on the bronze tier, and then up to 15 on silver, and up to 25 on gold. You can remove watermarks, and over time, there are new features that come that we typically release only to bronze and above. So this is, in my opinion, this is why Mocha is so amazing. $20 a month to build a website using code that you could deploy in one click is insane. I've been a developer for 15 years. This 10 years ago would have cost, like the recipe website I just showed you, that I just did in 25 minutes, would have cost at least $5,000 or $10,000 and would have taken at least days, probably weeks. And so there's a lot to be said about how cheap this is getting. Like building ideas is really becoming a commodity. And now it's going to be the era of idea people. And I'm super, super excited about this. This is why we're building Mocha. I really love the idea that everybody's heads is full of ideas and the creativity of the world is untapped. Only 1% of the world is really building their ideas. And now we're going to go to a much larger percentage. Cool. So that's pretty much my talk for the Techvival Africa conference. As I said, there's a code that you'll find that your host will give you that will give you a discount and allow you to try Mocha with like good rates to get started. Everybody could get started for free. I highly recommend playing with tools like these. Nearly everybody has a use case, whether it's for your business, for your family, for your friends, for your community, for yourself, just to learn how to use a modern tool. There's many reasons why you would try. It's free to get started. $20 a month is nothing for potentially unlimited upside of building something that's useful to the world and that can change people's lives by solving their problem. And that's it. That's it for me. It was great being here. Good luck to everybody. Enjoy the conference and talk soon.
Okay, thank you. All right. right. So thank you so much to Nicholas, the CEO of Mocha. That was an amazing section. Like I've always told you, we're going to be learning how to build apps using AI, and you just learned that now. So you understand that many of you might not be able to follow up with all of the things that Nicholas has been able to say in his section, but we're going to assure you, just like we've done with Lovered section, we're going to restream Nicholas's section. We're going to restream Erin Booth's section by tomorrow. Yeah, so we're going to put them to stream on there. We're going to cut out of the video and restream them for you to watch solo. So we're going to be sending you the update of that on the email. If you've registered for this conference, please do watch your email between tonight and tomorrow. We're going to send you an update of when the restreaming is going to go live. And then that brings us to the part where we'll talk about the gifting. So we've just updated the gifting page. That's referral account page a few minutes ago. So if you've been referring people, please go to that page to go know if you're part of our top winners. And as you know, we have 3 categories of winners. We have the top 4, we have the top 7, and then we have the top 50. So because of time, we wouldn't be announcing all of the names here, but it's transparent. Just go to that page, and you can be assured that at DEXA, we don't joke with financial integrity. At DEXA, we don't joke with integrity in general, right? So that page has been updated to be as transparent as possible. So if your name fell into the top 50, you're going to get the special gift. But if you referred someone at all, now we're going to make it wider, right? Everyone who referred anybody at all is going to get something from us. But the top 50 have their gifts listed out already, so they already know what they are winning. But if you didn't make it to the top 50, we still have something for you, and then you can be sure to look forward to what we have for you. Then about the $5,000 that we're going to share to 250 people. Also, because of time, we're going to be sending out emails and also post it on our social media platforms. We're going to release a Google form. So it's going to be a Google form that just collects 3 things from you. Your name, 4 things, your name, your email address, your phone number, 5 things now, your country, and then the idea you want to build with the 1 month free Mocha subscription is going to cost $20. That $20 you're going to receive, that is what you're going to use it for. So you need to build an app. It is going to only people who are going to build an app. So if you have an app idea that you've been nursing for so long, this is your opportunity to bring that idea to life and test one exactly if what is in your head can translate to cash in your pocket. So thank you so much. It's been an amazing time at Techvival Africa Conference 2025. This is pretty much our first edition. So the next editions are going to be super amazing. You can't even imagine. So we'll start planning for the next edition immediately, and seeing how you loved this conference, seeing how you've supported us, seeing how you've been here, we are set to do more. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for hanging in. I remain your humble host, Victor Kingsley, the founder and CEO of DEXA. Love you. Thank you very much.